What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session. Today, we're going to be looking at
check raised turns and check raised rivers. Our supposition is that they are under bluffed. That's what we expect to see. Let's find out if it's true in my database. All right, I'll go first. 7-6 suited can open. He can also just fold. The worst thing he can do is call. And in our stakes, we see a lot of calls here. That won't surprise us. Let's see what happens. Yep, there's the call. Once that calls, fold, ace 10. The best play for him is to raise, and at 30 big blinds, he shouldn't jam it. He should just raise the ace 10 against this. He should raise it to 4.5. And at our stakes, we would not be surprised to see him check behind. But I think more likely he's going to raise. Everybody else should fold. If he calls, let's see what the 7-8 does. He does a horrible tiny raise. I think that's the worst of his three choices, because it reopens the action for the 6-7 suited. Not that he's going to take advantage of it, but he could. So he reopens the action without getting any value from it. Yeah, he keeps the 4-6 from coming along, but that seems bad. 7-8 suited. He should fold. He's not deep enough to be playing in this situation. I wouldn't be surprised to see him call again as a short stack. He folds. I of course fold, and the 4-6 should fold, but he calls. Okay, so the ace 10 got an extra big blind in from someone who's 17%. I guess that was a good thing. I still think it's a terrible play. And here we go. There's the call, which is an auto call. He should absolutely call there. And he goes to the flop. Three ways. He should check. He should check with middle pair, and he should do some stabbing. And this particular hand, not very stabby. And this range, I have nothing to say about this range against three players. Check, check. He checks. All right. On the 4, this 4 should check, still check. The 7 has not been upgraded. He could maybe bet an 8 now, I think safely. The 7, I think, can still be a check. Checks. Good check. And now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These check raises make sense. Check, check, check. There's the bet. Ace 10 folds. There's the raise. This is nowhere near the nuts. He should just call. He should not 4-bet it. He should not check bet, 3-bet, check bet, raise. He should not 3-bet this. He calls, and that makes total sense. All right, there we go. Larry is up next.
Sure. You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Ace King is going to play a hand. Ace 10 is a fold. 5s is a fold, in theory. And King 7 gets to defend.
Okay, before I hit the button, what do you think the 5s will do, given it's a good fold? What do you expect them to do, given what we've learned?
Ace King is a short stack, so he doesn't have implied odds. He should. It's a silly position because there's no implied odds. He should fold.
Yep. But what's he going to do?
He's going to call.
Of course he is.
And King 7, I think you're allowed to call like King 7 in the situation.
Yeah.
Not if it's small blind, which really doesn't have any flats, but I think King 7 might be a call here.
Yeah, I would think. I don't know this one.
I'm gonna guess,
but I would think I would think that King 7 suited can call.
I'm gonna guess that the charts want you to fold, but
Okay. We're gonna look. This is going to be, it's low jack raise. Okay. Our first complaint is that peak GTO always reverts to the MTT ranges. Okay. Low jack raise, small blind call, big blind raise. Yeah.
Mixing.
Mixing, you can. And this is mixing at chip EV. With a little bit of rake, which is not going to be a huge amount in this world. The rake isn't, because now we've got this extra money in there. NL 53X. Do I have this? Yes, I do. Low jack raises, small blind calls, big blind at 3. With the rake, it does not like the call.
Does small blind have any calls here?
It does.
Okay.
Got a small, it's got a sliver all across there.
Okay.
right. And he calls. So he is playing chip EV or non-GTO.
Chip EV in a raked environment.
Mhm.
All right. So this might be a donkable flop. I don't know multi-way, but in theory, this is getting pretty close to a. I think you need to be. I think if it was a 7, you could for sure instead of an 8, but it's pretty close. But there should be some. They should just check.
What did we learn in our DTO study last March though about three-way pots?
A long time ago, Scotty.
He has no first player has no donking range in any
Oh, small blind fat.
on
Okay.
DTO.
Yeah.
On Prometheus it does.
I
Okay.
think you should be careful too, because this is a small blind range here.
Yeah.
And if you were to sign them a big blind range, yes. But this is, if you're in a small blind and you're calling, you aren't going to come anywhere near this board. This would not, in theory, have any donks. Whereas if you were a big blind against an early position, then you start having donks. But versus a range, a calling range, small blind calling range, like a true one, like we see.
Yeah, it's the small blind calling range is 3 hands,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
So these guys should check, and Ace King, I think here, multi-way, where they miss. Maybe you have a little bit with the back door, but I think mostly you check. I think generally I would check here. But I'm not surprised he bets. Neither of these 5s. You got backdoor potential. I think my 5s I generally would just fold with in the middle of the sandwich, but maybe you can call. I think it's closer than it appears. King 7 generally missed here. I think I would fold it.
Yeah.
You could argue it has some backdoor potential, but I think I would fold it.
Yeah. I think that if ace king bets small here and 5s fold, the king 7 can be thinking about its backdoor potential. But against a big bet and a call, backdoors are nothing.
Yeah.
You gotta have direct equity at this point. You just get out of there. Like that.
Maybe we're in a 5 on river. So villain 91 should check out the position. He's decided to bluff this hand. This hand is best non-pair, and so it's not really a hand that you should bluff. But he's chosen this line. I think generally a solver would continue a bluff line if it took it.
Would
Yeah.
you?
I don't think so. I think I
Okay.
feel like I have enough a sliver of showdown after big betting and getting called multi-way. I
Yeah,
generally
we often see
check.
that, right? Ace King is one of those hands where it doesn't get as much of those bluffs.
Yeah, it doesn't really, it's got a sliver of slowdown. It doesn't really need to bluff in theory.
Yeah.
But once you've taken this line, you've chosen to bluff, I probably would continue.
If it was king, queen of diamonds, which has much less showdown.
Yeah, I mean, queen of
Check.
diamonds and you miss here.
Yeah.
I think I would bluff more. You have less showdown. It comes down to what your showdown is. You got a sliver with ace king.
Yeah. The jack is the good thing about the jack is it changes top pair. So it makes his marginal hands more marginal. So that's good.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Neither of his heart continues and diamond continues brick off. Unfortunately, we block the diamond continues. So if we had clubs here for some bizarre reason, this could be good. And if we had a spade, that makes it better. But yeah, check is good. All right.
And so, villain, so he looks like we're gonna get a bluff here. Villain checks, he checked So now he's got scattered aggression.
Right.
So in theory, we have to be suspect of scattered aggression, and this play doesn't really make much sense. Being that the 3 didn't complete any draws, and it's repeat 3, I would also be suspect. I would prefer to call if I was going hero here with this combo as opposed to check raise. This is pretty gangster. So it's essentially Villain 94's line. Yeah, it's totally suspect, but I think you can just hero. I don't think it's required to bluff here. This
I
is
think so. Oh, go on.
yeah, I don't think this is necessary. I think you just hero with your pair.
Right. So here's the only question about what makes this valid to me, which is
Uh-huh.
if you believe, so this is never a 3. He has no 3s in his range. This can be, you know, a set on the flop or a set on the turn. This can be that he decides to check back for fun there based on his SPR.
And the only hand that makes sense here is trapping jacks.
Yeah, it could be jacks like that. But so this is a weak bet. He surmises correctly and he beats all of those. The question is, will this guy bluff 6s here like this? He might. Will he bluff a 4? Will he bluff 6s or 7s like this? And he absolutely might. But will he fold them? That's the question. If he will fold 6s or 7s, then this extra little, because remember, he's not betting 186. He's betting 10. He's betting 11. He's just giving his bluff a little more oomph. I mean, you know, his here to try to get 6 or 7s to fold. Do you believe 6s or 7s fold here for 10 more big blinds? I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they do, there's some sense to this. If they don't, this is completely unnecessary.
Yeah, this seems like a reaction to the scattered aggression.
Right.
And it seems me a little bit of a reaction.
Yeah. But he just doesn't need to do it unless he really believes, 6s, 7s, and 8 or a jack will fold because of the additional 3. And for 10 big blinds, I just don't think they do. So there we go. Yep. Skate.
Alrighty then. I think it is too early for King 5. I think that starts coming in maybe more the cutoff, maybe even hijack. But I'm not sure.
Let me just show you that one because this is one to remember. Which
I think we've talked about this before, like more than once.
Those small kings are there all the way down, but Clash Classic, 9 max, but they are scattered. Just so you know, they exist. We're just gonna look through Mr. Range here. There's your under the gun. See, the King 5 is there the whole time, and then starting in the low jack, it's relatively. Oh, this is the wrong size. I need the 2.5 open. That's what we do. Yeah, in the 2.5. So you see,
yeah,
5 is there the whole time, and then once you get to the hijack, it's
more pronounced. It's more okay. It's like pure.
Yeah. So 6-handed. For me, this is enough to play it pure. To just simplify and play those pure. That's what I would do there in the low jack.
Okay.
But now that we said it, not everybody does.
You can fold. Okay.
Yep.
I guess a poster. Okay, there's a poster, so I imagine 5-4 is gonna fold. King 5 is gonna call.
Yep.
And it's gonna be a limp party.
Right. What do you think the best play for the King 5 is here facing this limp? I think he's gonna call too, but what do you think he should do? If it was you with King 5 here, what would you do?
But he's posting, yeah. He's posting.
He's limping.
He's limping. Okay. King 5. You have a king blocker. You can ISO. Anything with the ace or king would be great candidates, I guess. And since you are opening from there, you can open. You can also ISO. I would go maybe 4.5.
Okay. that works. For me, I'm gonna fold it here, even though I'm gonna open it. And the reason is, for this to be a profitable open, it has to it has to include a lot of, folds of getting them through. And now now you're gonna get less folds. Not to say that he calls everything, but
Yeah, I thought about that too. I mean, it
Yeah.
would be a much better option to do that in the cutoff, or even better, the button.
yeah. So
Yep.
I'm gonna open this one. I'm gonna fold to a raise, obviously fold it to a raise. I'm not gonna three bet it. And to a limp, I'm gonna fold this one and I'm gonna raise in there. I'm gonna ISO with the king 10 suited always.
Yeah, I
King
was.
9 suited
Yeah.
sometimes, and not the king 8, king 7, king 6. That's gonna be my play, is I'm gonna mix around king 9.
Yeah, that's better. I was just gonna mention king 10.
Yeah, king 10 open. Always. All right. He goes for the ISO.
A little bit smallish, but okay.
Yeah, but okay. And
He's gonna call, of course.
all right, we know where this check raise is coming.
Whoa, good flop for both. Okay. Yeah. So limper's gonna check, and queen is better for them, so they should bet. I guess
I like the bet.
can bet.
I like the bet.
And call, right? Because we're seeing the check raises on the turn or river.
Yep, he just calls. Totally. That's fine. He can also raise, but the call's just fine.
Okay. Villain 92 is gonna check. Should
Yep.
check. Okay, now we got a bet.
Yep. Ace is better for our range than his. We still have a draw. Great.
Okay, now I assume that villain 92 is gonna call.
Yeah. Should villain 92 ever fold here? If it's you, should you ever fold here?
No, as played. No, we have the implied odds to call.
Okay. Oh my.
Okay, we missed, so check. And we missed, but I mean we have enough showdown to check. Right? You don't have to bluff.
Do we really have showdown?
No, maybe not show.
When he's called a bet of 11 on the turn,
Yeah.
do we have any showdown for real?
Yeah, on the flop. And yeah,
In fact, we do, but
well, yeah, I mean, we're essentially. Yeah, no, I take the back. You're right. We're trying to get a queen to fold.
yeah,
Right?
queen and a 7.
Yeah, queen or 7. Probably more than likely a queen because.
Yeah.
I don't think a 7's going to call is going to call or should not call very often with 2 overpairs to the 7 on the board. Should I say what I think he's going to do or what he should do?
Or start by saying what you think what he should do, and then what you think he's going to do. But let's start with what you would do in this situation. That's how we want to start.
Yes, I mean, we're trying to wrap the ace. We're trying to get a queen to fold, maybe a 7. So we got to go big if we are going to bluff. I'm not sure if I would always bluff this, but if I am going to bluff, I don't always bluff, but when I do bluff, for that commercial, let's go like something close to maybe like 50 big blinds. I don't know. At least pot or over pot, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would be happy bluffing this if I'm going to bluff here. Anywhere between 30 and 50 big blinds would make me comfortable with this bluff. That I could get a queen to fold, that I could get a 7 to fold for anywhere from 30 to 50, easy. And that I could get a queen and also, pocket pocket nines, if that's what he was there with. I think he could get that to fold. Pocket eights are not folding. But the one thing that makes this a bad candidate for a bluff is the fact that you've got two clubs. Because many of his continues would be his club draws, and you block two of the clubs, so it's harder for him to have the hand that he actually does have. Because you really want him to have clubs here and have him have an auto fold.
Mm.
And you make it harder for that to happen. So that makes this a better candidate for a give up than, say, if you got here with 9-10 of diamonds. If you were here with 9-10 of diamonds, this would be a very easy bluff. And that bluff of 30 to 50 seems good to me.
Okay, I like that logic.
Right.
And
And we're gonna
yeah.
check that. We're gonna check this logic in a solver in a second. But he goes for it, and he does this.
Wow. I think he's opening up in him or herself or whatever self to be bluffed. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Leveling wars. Yeah, so I did not I did not expect that either. Even
Oh my God.
yeah, I mean he has king high, which is good, but he folds.
Yeah. So I think that this guy susses it out is fine. I think the sizing is insane. And I think the fact that it worked is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we know the river play is not solver approved. We know that. All right. Our initial raise size was, okay, so we can't solve this. There's a limp. All right. So, you know what we could do? This hand makes sense. Let's just look at, if you put this guy in the big blind, this hand makes complete sense. So let's peek this 1, 2, 3 against the big blind. All right. Peek GTO. This is a low jack raise with the king 5 suited. It's there, as we know. There's the raise in the low jack. Big blind's going to defend. No, he doesn't have any 10-6 suited here. So his non-union equivalent is 8-6 suited. And will that play similarly? He hits an 8 at the end. Yeah.
Made the
he's
raise,
got-
if you made the raise from like the cutoff of the button, maybe 10-6 is in there.
10-6 gets in there. 10-6 gets in there around the button, but we'll just, if 4-5 doesn't get there, he's gonna have 4-5 of clubs, and it's gonna be the same thing on the river there. And his 9-8, I think mixes, but yeah, misses also. But anyway, he calls. Our flop is 3 of clubs, queen of diamonds, 7 of clubs. 3 of clubs, queen of diamonds, 7 of clubs. And we check range. Now we have the bet by the king 5, which makes total sense. And the primary size here is big. That surprises me. Anybody got a explanation why this is big?
No, that doesn't surprise me. Actually, the queen high disconnected doesn't surprise
Okay.
me for large size he bets.
Great. All right. There's the big. And what is the size that he bets, by the way? Let's check that out. He bets half pot because he's just doing sort of default half pot. So that's fine. So he bets big. Now with our suited clubs, we are not folding any suited clubs here, even down to the 5-3. Why do we not have 5? Oh, because that's there, because that's on the board. So there's our 5-4 of clubs. It can play along. Yeah. So we call. Turn is the ace of diamonds, if I remember correctly, ace of hearts. There we go. We continue to check. And now with the king 5, he looks at that and he says, yep, that's better for my range.
Mhm.
The pot is, where does it tell us the pot in peak GTO? Where do we see the pot size?
Oh.
Right next to your exposed cards down there on the left.
Yep. Right in the middle.
Next to my exposed cards on the
Way
left.
to the left. Yeah,
On
so
the flop. On
see
the
the
far
three,
left
seven,
column.
queen, and ace.
Oh.
board. On the board. On the
Yeah.
right in the middle of the screen.
Right in the middle of the screen.
Yeah,
There
far
we go.
left,
Far
Far
left.
Yep.
right
There
next
we
to the
go.
3 of
Pot is
clubs.
15, thank you. Pot is 15, he bets around 11. So the closest bet for that was the 9. And now can we continue with clubs? We do not fold clubs.
It's a gut
here.
shot too.
Yeah, but for the closest thing to our hand would be,
Isn't the
Nine-
7
9-8 is
also
not a
supposed to
gut
be a
shot.
club?
what?
The 7, shouldn't that be a club instead of a diamond?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that would help. If we'd gotten that right, that would help a lot. Sorry about that. 3, queen, 7. 3 of clubs, queen of diamonds, 7 of clubs. Thank you. Check. Bet. Call. Ace of hearts. Check. Bet around that number. He really bet a little more. And now we looked here and we want to look at one that's not a gut shot like 8-9. And 8-9 already. So here's the interesting thing. Now it's a raised bluff. 9-7 with a pair. Let's see who's got, what other of these low ones do we have? 5-4 has the gut shot with it now and does a little calling. 6-5 was already a gut shot. Pair. Our clubs just fold here. And so skate, here's the thing. Our clubs fold to that size. That's the thing you want to see here. That's the important lesson here, is the 10-8 is the closest thing to the real situation. And for a bet of 11, bet of 9 here, we fold these. If he bets small, which he's not going to do a lot, now we can continue with our club's sum. But we just want to fold.
What's king 8? Look at king 8.
King
Okay.
8 is clubs. So we bluff some clubs. We just don't call them.
So like I'm assuming if the if the ace was not on the turn and we had an overpair, any ace or king, maybe we can call.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. I mean, you don't have to check, but
Yeah.
because
And also
yeah.
the ace is so good. The ace is so good for his range.
Yeah, I see.
Now
And
we
then
can't
like
trust these.
because like on the turn,
Right.
10-6 is getting what like 8. It has like 18% odds or something to hit the club, and that's about it, right? They don't have any
Yeah.
overpairs,
They don't have any
so
we're happy with. Right. Now on the
Yeah.
river, this is what we want to see is should villain 95 be bluffing a combo like this? And which ones should he? The size, of course, is ridiculous.
Mhm.
So the river is the 8 of spades. And now, once again, a check range from big blind. Big blind has never bet this and never does on this line. All right. The king 5. When you get here with these other combos, they always bluff. The one that bluffs the least is the clubs. You see that one? That was the thing that I was pointing out.
Yep.
And it turns out to be true. Not that you have no bluffs, you do, but this is the one that bluffs the least because you want him to have clubs. And we wanted to find other bluffs. I didn't even know we got here with these other king 5s, but apparently we did. And there'll be all kinds of other bluffs around here we don't need to look at, but the ones we do the least are the front door flush. All right.
Okay.
Does all that make sense, Skate?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Let's open up the little chat.
And then
window,
like
see if I'm missing what people are saying. Up next is Richie. Is that true? Yes, up next is Richie.
Richie wanted to say skip.
Okay, Richie skipped. All right. And we're on to after Richie, we have, looks like Mike. Is that true? Mike is next.
Okey-doke.
Mike, I give you this.
Yay. Queen 10 low jack, Queen 10 suited is a raise. Nines is gonna actually want to fold a ton here. You can 3-bet it if you so desire. It would be player dependent for me. I would probably just fold to most people, most unknowns anyway.
But 100%, what is this guy doing?
Oh, they're never gonna fold. Probably gonna call. It's
Always.
probably what
Always
most
call.
of the population will do.
Yep. Yep.
And that should get around. Let's see if it does. Okay, we see a flop. Fun. So Queen 10 should check a lot. Probably range. Probably check range here, in theory. However, versus a lot of the opponents we play, you can up your c-betting strategy considerably. In this case, I would probably c-bet more often than I normally would. They do. Good sizing. The nines now.
That's what I wanted to do. I apologize for that. It's not the thing I wanted to do.
In position gets to call a lot, but to a smaller size bet here. What is this? This is like yeah, it's about a B33.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not sure if I were to call the nines, if I had called the nines pre-flop to a smaller C bet, I think I might just raise now, even in position, because shoot, we're unblocking top pair. They have all the overpairs still. I might just fast play these nines, but you certainly can't be faulted for
Yeah.
calling. If it was a bigger bet, I don't know if I would still fast play. I think it's just a good spot to fast play them.
Ivy, let me ask you a quick question. Would you slow play more on a rainbow flop, or would you slow play the same frequency with the 2-tone?
No, I would slow play way more often if it was rainbow.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to go here.
Are you guys still seeing the poker coaching screen, or are you seeing me mess with Zoom?
We are not
Thing
seeing
mess
us
with
with Zoom.
Zoom. We do not see any poker coaching screen at all.
Okay, I mean poker tracker screen.
Oh,
Yeah, we
poker
see
tracker.
that.
Yeah, we're seeing the replayer. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. I just wasn't sure when because I screwed up the thing there. Okay, so he just calls.
Yeah, I think you have so much equity here. I think either's fine, but yeah.
Yeah. Skate points out that our lack of a heart, which of course we can't have a heart when we have this set.
Sure.
He might want to lead us to raise more. Yeah, yeah. Because his hearts are going to call the raise. All right. So he just calls.
All right. Queen 10 gets to bank one.
Yeah.
So he c-bet got called. And now we get a double flush draw type board, pretty connected. And we currently have the nuts. So with the double flush getting there, I think I would continue.
Mhm.
I think this is a pretty good card even for the in position player. So I think we just keep going for value.
Yep. What size?
And I'd probably go like B75, B50. I wouldn't over bet, I don't think. I
The
wouldn't go
one
too
thing that
big.
makes it a candidate for overbetting is the double flush board. That does push our sizes up.
Does it?
I think so. Well, if you want to take a look, Larry, would you take a look at this? Oh, you can't. Yes, you can. You have one free one. Larry, would
I
you
think-
take a look at this one just to see the difference between our sizing on the 8 of diamonds and the 8 of clubs? That's the only thing we want to see.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yep.
So
He-
yeah, I would probably go
checked.
B75 would kind of be my standard.
Okay,
He checked.
he checks.
Okay. Which is probably fine in theory too. You probably get checks here. And the nines now should be betting.
Yep.
Should be betting for value when the 8 comes in like this. Yeah, probably Probably just go kind of polarizing-ish, like B75, I'm guessing.
Mm.
They go B50.
Yeah.
B50-ish. Now the queen 10, now that they've checked, this is where that raise is going to come in, apparently. And if I had checked, yeah, I would raise. I
Yeah.
would check raise here. Very
Yeah.
nice. And nines are just like shit.
Right.
Not sure. Do you get it in? Do you just get it in with second set here? In position. God, they could be doing this with so much though. I don't know if you just three bet it. This is tough. I don't know what to do, to be honest.
I would
Yeah, I
call.
think generally,
He's got jacks in range. He's got.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, I would call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so tough because then you have so many cards that are either action killers and or bad for you.
I mean, we know this is the most unbluffed line in poker.
Yeah.
You don't boat up, you're sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of tough. Nines are in a really bad spot.
Whoa,
What?
that's fancy play syndrome, gentlemen.
It
What
is.
happened? Oh, he checked. Queen
He
10 checked.
checked.
Unless he's scared of the ace queen.
He's not scared of anything.
What's he doing?
I mean,
He's
you have
he's
the
going.
nut.
He's doing this, and he's
He-
going to check raise him again.
Wow.
He may be giving hearts a chance to bluff.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an interesting play.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see this in theory, like what all the options are. It's probably you
Right.
can do anything you want when you get there, but
Yep. Okay.
I would
I'll
be
put
really
in.
hard pressed not to fast play my nines here
Yeah.
on any street.
This guy's crying. Okay. Let's go into peak. So this is low jack, high jack. Because peak has no rake, the nines are going to be allowed to call here. So that's good for our running it. All right. So go back. Low jack raises, certainly raises with the queen, and he had queen 10 suited, right? Yeah, certainly a raise there. Hijack in peak GTO after the raise has calls all along here because this is a non-rake environment. In a raked environment, just to remind us of how we play it, there's the low jack raising it, and the hijack does not have those calls in a raked environment.
But you do see look at the folding. Even
They do.
pocket tens are folding more often than
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah, but
know.
nobody, our opponents are not playing like this. All right. And by the way, we might not have to play like this, given the lack of three bets behind, the lack of GTO three bets behind. But anyway, jack of diamonds, 4 of hearts, 9 of hearts. Hold on. Let's try this again. Low jack raises. You call. Let's see if I do it. Maybe if I do it one at a time, maybe that's what went wrong. Fold. Thank you. I don't know why that happened, but once again, we are at jack of diamonds, 4 of hearts, 9 of hearts. Okay. The common thing that we see in GTO solvers that is not what we see in game and that we've discussed whether or not we should implement is the check range. I, by the way, have been implementing this in game more and more.
Yeah, and it's kind of board specific too, or
Yeah.
it can vary, but yes, very, very often checking. And
Yeah.
this particular board is going to be one of those where you just want to check range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check. We have got the queen 10.
Now in game they bet, right? They see bet.
In game, they see bet. That's going to
Yeah.
be a problem.
Oh, that will screw it up, won't it?
But he had slivers. He had slivers. It's not going to break the solve, we hope. See, there's slivers. There's your queen 10. We've got it. He bets it. So we're okay. So he bets and his bet size was
Yeah, the smaller size.
smaller size. Good bet. Now, what do you do with your pocket nines? Perfectly fine. You know, everything you said made sense. Sometimes you do this, sometimes you do that. He went for this. Picks up the magical 8 of diamonds. And now we need to do this to the range because we never have it. Lots of slope, lots of the check raise goes for the check raise here. There's the
Yeah, I don't
check.
know if we
Yeah.
can trust this part of the solve because this is a very rare part of the tree.
Yeah, but okay, let's look at it faster. The nines bet, and that makes total sense. The nines bet, and their size was he bet half pot. So half pot would be closer to, I'm gonna choose this one. Because we don't have a half pot bet here. So we do this, the queen 10 now raises, of course. He did a healthy raise in sort of the 20-ish. That was his actual size. 23. And yep, that's the closest thing to it. And the nines now are nines are not folding, but they are not happy. There's the call. The river is the king of not suit. And this isn't insane. It's not standard. It's not insane. So there you go. And what do the nines do? The nines obviously go, oh, great, I have it.
Oh, I see. I think I see why. I mean, I might be wrong, but why Queen 10 decided to check the river because nines the set raised the flop. So they showed aggression, right? Or
No, the nines did not
no.
raise the flop. The nines just called. When check bet raise, what he did was he called a big check raise. So he
on the
liked,
okay.
and
Yeah, so then
so the
I-
queen
I-
10 gave him a chance to bluff.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
kind of theorized when that 8 came, Scotty, we were talking about what, I thought that was good for the in-position caller, and I didn't think we would really want to be betting big as the queen 10. We would want to size down, and it actually just wanted to check a ton.
This is on which the
The
node
turn.
was
On the
when the 8
turn.
comes. So here's the 8. It's this node.
Yeah.
And it does check it. This node.
So there's your first,
Yeah,
so
this is the
there's where
node.
it wants to check a ton. We were kind of wondering, should we be betting big, small, or checking? And I thought it would be betting small if you wanted to bet. You thought it might want to bet big, and we wanted to
Right.
see if that 8 was like an 8 of clubs, if that changed our sizing.
Yeah, let's just do that. So here, the percentage is, we do all the checks, but our biggest percentage is betting small, is betting 3. Now we'll make that the 8 of clubs instead. 8 of spades. And now we bet more often. And our size is still the small one, 8.3. So yeah, we're not betting big in either case. It didn't push it up. I was wrong. But mostly we weren't betting.
But yeah, so that kind of completed some, like it was a 3-liner up there. So that brings our betting frequencies and sizings down as the out of position player.
Right, oh, that was the more important thing. That's the important thing, is that it's the 8. If you want to play this stupid little game, we make this the 3 and we look at the difference of sizing. So let's just take a second here and see if, just to confirm this. So 3 of diamonds. Now the low jacks sizes are lots of 60% pot, right? That's its size, massively preferred. Now you make it the 3 of clubs, 3 of spades. and everything's the same. There's more, it seems to me that there's now more of these bets than there were before. But it's still the same amount of the 7. So we've now got 7% of the over bet of the 100%. So between the two of these, there's 8.5%, right? On the diamond, between the two of those, there's less. So the rainbow was bigger. My contention was completely wrong. It's the opposite, and it's not a huge amount. So my heuristic is wrong, at least on this board, if not everywhere. So I'll try not to say that again. All right, up next is, after Mike, we have Sam.
What happened, by the way? Did they both get it in?
Yeah, he got it in.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, also the solver goes broke here, in a slightly different order.
Yeah.
And back to this one. Sam, you have this hand.
All right, so I'm gonna be folding around to villain 108 with the ace king. We're doing 2.5% raises, right?
We're doing whatever they do.
Or 2.5 big blind. Yeah, so yeah, they're going
Yeah,
to.
these are real hands. So-
Okay. King, queen off, that's just gonna be a call. Both the blinds, I would assume, fold here. Well, should be folding, but
Should be.
yeah.
So here's the first reason that we should be playing in this game is that
How
call right
about,
there.
yeah, how about that king queen off on the button? Should be a 3-bet.
From earlier positions, isn't it supposed to be just a call from the earlier position raises and then 3 bets against later position raises? Because this is 6-handed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I think you'll find the offsuit variety is going to want to 3-bet it almost exclusively.
with rake, it was the hijack that raised into the button.
Yeah.
Hijack
Yes.
rake. Here's your button.
Okay. King
Yeah.
queen off, 3 betting every time.
The suit, yeah, and the suited ones you notice those had a lot of calling.
Yeah, because they want to realize their equity, right?
And if there were no rake where you're allowed to call even more, let's see what that looks like. Just see the difference here. Right. We start with a hijack raise onto the button. With no rake, you can do some more calling in this range, in this region, but still it likes the raises.
Okay. And
And then-
obviously folding to a 4 bet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are bluffs. This is a value. This is a bluff. This is a bluff. This is a value bluff that you fold.
Okay.
All right. But instead this happens.
All right. So definitely going to be c-betting here with the ace king. Try and get called by that ace jack, ace queen. Try and get called by smaller pocket pairs. Maybe getting called by things like jack 10. Good but vulnerable to getting outdrawn because there is the Broadway draw available.
And we're also gonna get called by
So-
Broadway draws, which is nice. We're gonna
Yeah.
get called by those. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as bet sizing goes, I would say probably 3rd pot size bet.
I like it. And do you, so I like what you said. Do you hate this check here?
So I'm trying to think of if I check, what am I hoping happens? Am I hoping to see the turn, or am I hoping that the button is going to be betting? And this guy's line of thought being, I'm gonna check raise my top.
I
Yep.
think your
Is that
ideal,
what I think he's doing?
I
That
think
is
your
what we're
ideal
hoping.
outcome
Is
here
that
is that you
what's he
check.
supposed to do? No.
I think your ideal outcome here is that you check, fill 104 bets, big blind folds, and then your heads up, and it'd be a good spot for a check raise.
Yeah, when you check here, you're intending to check raise and you're not scared until you
Right.
get through that. And in our DTO study, we found a lot of these, we found this guy checking pure, we found a lot of checking in the sandwich. And then, check calling and check raising. And return playing wide, because this guy's supposed to stab really wide. And in life,
Right.
we have not found these really wide stabs here. So I'm starting to think that we want to be continuation betting out of the sandwich more often than DTO did.
And Jonathan
Right.
Jaffe also advocates this. We talk about this quite a bit, about checking here as well.
Yep. All right, I give you turn.
All right.
Boom.
Boom.
So since the button didn't bet out here, as the middle position player, definitely want to be putting in a small bet, because now a lot of things improve that ace jack, jack tens, things that we didn't try to fold out here. There are some straight draws that come in. The diamond draw is now there. Do I really think that he's going to have, or do I think that he's going to be betting his broadways, specifically the king queen on the flop? If I was the person on the button, I'd probably take a small stab, like you were saying, because I do block that ace king, ace queen. And if I do get called, then I still have that gut shot for the
Yeah.
Broadway draw. But I think that middle position here is going to bet. If I were to face a raise, depending on the size of it, should be looking to fold out a bunch of my ace X's, or at least some of my ace X's here. I don't have any diamonds, so that would make me a little bit more inclined to stick around. But
Right.
I do have the blockers to his two pairs. I do have the blocker to the straight as well. So I wouldn't love getting raised here, but like I said, depending on the sizing, I do feel as though he should stick around. If I bet 2/3 pot here, if I make it 6 or 7 big blinds and I get check rate, or not check raise, I get raised to 20 big blinds. Just not loving it. But I don't know if I would, being honest with myself, I don't know if I would make the fold.
Yeah, I think I would probably call the 20 and fold the river. But he checks. Because he thinks he's Phil Hellmuth.
I don't know. I think on this board, multi-way like this, your top pair, top kicker's pretty not great. Like, what's the term you use, Scotty, or poker coaching uses? Marginal.
Yes,
Pretty
marginal. However, that's not what he's thinking. He is thinking that he's trapping, and I only know this because of the filter. Because when this guy bets, oh no, he's going to wait till the river to check raise. So yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out whether he thinks he's trapping or not when we see the river.
Might get a chopper or something like that.
Let's see. So big bet. Yeah, we would call that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's why.
that's
okay.
why. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I was wrong. Okay.
What a run out.
What a run out.
So yeah, I mean, this is going to play pretty straightforward now. It's going to go bet, raise, jam.
Yeah.
And they're just going to chop.
Yep. And all they're going to do is give away more money to the rake. All right.
Yeah.
Next up is, let me see on this. We have Makina. if you would like to take a hand, I've hit the ask to unmute button. Let's see.
Yes, I can talk. I'm
Right.
driving, but I can see. Yes.
Oh, you're driving? All right,
Are you
maybe,
listening?
maybe skip a hand so you don't die.
No problem with that.
All right.
Okay, we have a limp.
Just put your hazards on.
A blind. Yeah. Okay, ace king will raise maybe for 3.5 or 4.
4.5.
Okay.
4.5.
Yeah. Okay. Queen 9 will call, I think.
Yep.
And maybe the small blind with ace 5 call if he's a loose guy, but the rest fold, I think.
Right. And if it were you with the ace 5, would you consider 3-betting here with a solver special?
No, because it's through ring table. I think it's too much to raise on the small blind, but on 6 max, yes.
Okay.
I think it's the hijack open and call for the bottom with ace 5. I think, and on raise on 3-bet that for 13, maybe 40.
Yeah.
40 stacks.
Yeah. If it were me, I would fold it in this situation because its solver special nature gets diluted by the fact that I have to do it to 2 people to check raise, and I have to raise out of position into 2 players. Never good. And Hero's range is stronger because of the poster. Because it
I don't
forces-
think so, because some players I see on
That's true.
on
You're right.
NL25, I saw more if he's a fish or if he's a loose player with post the blind out of position. I think I have the big range to try play with him only.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think people who might fold an ace 10 here might see it as extra juicy. And they wouldn't worry
Yeah.
about the fact that it cost them 4.5 to do it.
So
I think-
Scotty, if you're not 3-bet squeezing as a bluff with ace 5, are you doing it with anything?
No. There's so many times to 3-bet squeeze. I'm just not going to do it with a bluff. I'm going to just do value here. I'm going to go linear. I don't know that
Jacks
it's right.
plus?
I'm not saying it's right, but it's what I'm going to do.
Yes, ace queen possible and jacks plus
Yeah.
only.
Yeah. So he, maybe 10s. 10s fits in linear still. But he calls.
Yeah. I think small blind have to check. Ace king, I think I bet 33 over there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
Yep.
sorry.
We'll see what I do. It's me. That's actually me who's doing it. So there's a chance that I'm going to check here for a check raise because of the learning that we do a lot of checking in the sandwich and go for check raises more than bets. This depends on where I was in my study at this time of year. Yeah. So I do that. And I'm now thinking more and more that this is only good if this 9 goes for it and he doesn't. So I think that I need to be betting this more often than I have been. I think this is, I think that this may be GTO approved, and I think it's a mistake in our player pool. All right.
I think if you have with only one player and out of position, maybe queen 9 will wrap more. But
Yeah.
with the blind out of position, I think he's a passive player. Normally, I make a note about that. They make a blind out of position, and I play like he's a calling station. For that, normally I go bet more out of position than check.
Right. Okay. If anybody wants to put in the chat a side bet of how much money is Scotty going to lose on this hand, we'll see. All right.
All
right,
no,
so-
I'll know. Okay. Small blind checks.
Mhm.
I step over there with the H5 because, but yes, I can step on the small blind with two pairs, sets, and flush, and maybe the ace of the hearts only. I think I go for it on the small blind.
Mhm.
With a check, I think you go bet maybe 50 or 75.
Yeah. like
Big
this.
bet, big junk on inside. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Queen 9 will fold. Queen 9 will fold, and I think ace 5 will call because check raise over there is only flush or straight because I think he calls you only.
He does.
Yeah, yes. And now he checks again, and you go bet a big junk again. Maybe not. Yeah, you lose to nines now, and maybe it's one of the. I think you go pot, pot not 50 half pot maybe, or I think you don't go up there. Yes, and this now ace 5. I think he has to call only if he's a good player. Maybe if he's a little aggressive, he'll go raise you, and you have to fold on that situation. I
Yeah,
think.
he raises.
Yeah, and you have to fold
I
only
do.
if you have a note over the player. I think I don't
Yeah.
see what we can call over there because normally this will be a 9 and
Mhm.
flush.
Yeah.
Okay, if we have ace 9, yes. If
Mm.
you have kings, jacks, and aces, yes. But now I think we have to fold.
Yep, we do. But I have a note that says I don't care about money, unfortunately. And Larry wins the bet. No!
You-
No. Yeah, there's no way you're calling there, Scotty. I had confidence in you.
Yes! Go fuck yourself, Larry.
yeah,
All right.
I'll
well
take the,
played. I
I'll
think
take the money instead.
well
Okay,
played.
up next is Richie. If you want one, you got it. If you don't, we'll come back to
Nah, skip me once more. Cheers,
okay,
guys.
we're on Larry then,
All right.
because the order on the computer has changed. Larry, I give you this.
Yeah, I think King Queen's gonna open. Uh, this is really a bad choice, life choice. What comes in with this limp? I think nothing is really worth over limping. Maybe the Queen 10 is gonna over limp.
I
Maybe
think I
the
will.
suited combos sometimes think this is an invitation, but really it. Now, if I had Queen 10 here against an EP limp,
Mhm.
I don't think this is good enough to ISO. And I
Sorry,
probably,
can I
go
ask
ahead.
a thing?
Yeah.
On the what the less I think if I have ace 5 suited on the cutoff or big blind or button, I go raise. With ace 5 off, I think it's to lose, yes.
Yeah, ace five suited is the magic solver hand. We gets to do crazy shit. So
Yeah.
I would probably ISO ace five suited.
I would
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, so ace 5 suited.
Yeah. All right.
'Cause I can raise it. Yeah.
And
I-
so Queen 10 is weird. I think guiltily I might, full disclosure, I might overlimp here, but I feel dirty doing it.
Yeah,
I
we're
probably
gonna
would overlimp.
we're gonna study the overlimp situation here in again in the future, because we have a range. We actually have a range, an HRC range that makes sense given the actual population's limping
Yeah.
frequency. But I don't remember it.
This is yeah. Queen
It
10 is really in
it
the,
exists in an email from Arcturus somewhere. So I do that.
so the overlimp happens, which is going to get interesting now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the blinds should check.
Ooh,
Okay, I get it. Looks like he's got a double gutter to me, so get in. Well, Now we're off theory, but I think what's gonna happen is that the kings are going to, who knows? Let's see what he does.
Okay, so let's do this with the exercise. Instead of saying what he should do, saying if you had a limping strategy and it was a good limping strategy, how should you play this? We're not going to do that. Let's play with our model in your head, your model of what limpers do here. What do you expect him to do? That's the question.
I expect him to raise,
Okay. Good expectation.
and you're
Given the model of Scotty you have in your head, which should be pretty damn accurate, what am I absolutely going to do?
I think you should get the hell out of here.
Hell yeah.
Lose it all.
So I think what we will see the Donker and the Limp Pot do here is call.
And it seems like a good call.
Yeah, this is fine. This is kind of, it brings in the flush draw, but it's mostly bricky. Check. Now he has to make a decision. He should see that that's a brick card. He's made his choice to bet big and didn't get re-raised, which is important, right? So he should probably be 75. What do I think he's gonna do? I think he's gonna be 75.
Okay. I think he should be doing B75 all the way up to B150. This guy has some kings in range, right? He has every king in range, except for ace king, because this was a limped pot where he limped behind. So you can take king, queen out of, we can take, ace king out of his range, and he still has 9 deuce and 7 deuce because we never folded them out.
Yeah, that
So-
makes sense.
you
So
can
I
have all
think
the
bigger
two pairs.
size is fine.
Right. He can have all the 2 pairs, which is true. But he also has every 9 with every kicker and every king with every kicker. And
I
and
think
there's a lot
also,
more of
like
those.
in theory, on a double flush draw board, you use bigger sizings, but we'll see what he does.
That's what I said on the last one. In theory, we used bigger sizing on double flush boards, and we found that I was wrong on that particular flop.
But it also had, it was a connected board. It was a straight
But
board.
no, but remember I looked at it. Remember I threw in I bothered to throw in the 3. I did it with a 3 of clubs and a 3 of diamonds.
Oh,
um,
yeah.
Found
Yeah,
that
you
it
did.
wasn't true. So I like that heuristic, but I'm not as confident in it after that. But he bets the 75.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to see pot odds versus equity here.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, I think you're very different because you are going to under-realize your equity when you hit one of your outs.
Yeah.
And not only that, yeah. So I think against this size, we get pretty indifferent with our straight draws. This guy's going to call, but I think you get to fold here.
Yeah, as this bet gets bigger and bigger, we start folding the straight draws and the flush draws.
Yeah,
The
a straight
fact-
draw just is not worth as much as a flush draw. There's less outs, and obviously it's not as good a hand. So, yeah, you should. I mean, I think he's going to call. He should fold.
Yeah, we can't feel great that we have 8 outs to make the nuts because of the flushes out there, because in each case there's the diamond and the spade version of them.
I will add, however, yeah, good point.
Right.
We've got
We
dirty
block-
outs.
However, we luckily block
We
our
double block.
opponent from having those draws, which is
Yeah.
nice.
So,
but-
I
I
will
mean-
say in position,
Yeah.
this is a call because in position you have bluffing opportunities.
Yeah.
Whereas here you don't, except for a donk shove.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so this is a fold.
I like the fold here. He's not gonna fold.
He's not gonna fold, yeah. And boom.
Right.
So he's gonna check raise.
Yeah.
So he checks. Villain,
I would bet here.
yeah, villain is in an interesting spot. I think, yeah, you just can't be, but okay, but it's interesting to think about what his range is with the donk here. You don't really put it on a straight draw with the donk. Yeah, you probably bet.
Yeah, I
And
bet here.
you probably bet.
Yeah, I
So
bet
you
here.
bet, yeah, so you ever bet. Well, the only size now is all in.
Right. Except he doesn't.
He's being tricky. One thing to look at is that this sizing, check raise. First of all, there's very few bluffs in a check raise. Second of all, when they use this non-all-in sizing, it's really close to an all-in. It's not actually very close. It's pretty far away. Essentially, this 2x sizing is very rarely a bluff.
Yeah.
It's very hard to fold to this, given these pot odds with this combo. I mean, the first question to ask yourself here is, are you beating value? And you can make an argument you're beating
I think you are.
lesser two pair.
Yeah.
And then you can look at your pot odds and say, well, I'm gonna have to win 20% of the time. It's probably a cry call.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think because he can do this with, there are a lot of two pairs that make sense here for
Yeah.
the way it played. But he
Th-
throws in the
This is
last.
this is a mistake, obviously.
Is he
So
throwing
this is
in?
important. Facing it, this is important for the group. Facing a check raise,
Yeah,
unless you've got nuts, don't re-raise. Just don't do it.
he
Ever.
looked at it and goes, he looked at it and went, it's 12 big blinds. What do I care? But he does
Yeah.
care. Yep.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do that.
Yeah, just don't ever do that, guys.
It's this, yeah, those 12 big blinds those, it's only 12 big blinds are the same 12 big blinds you would have been very happy to win in another hand.
Yeah, good way to look at it.
Okay. After Larry is me. Fold. This is an easy open and I expect him to do it. Fold. So let's see if he does. By the way, I wouldn't be shocked to see this king deuce limp, but I expect him not to. I think our opponents are doing this significantly less than 50% of the time. But we're going to see it certainly 10% of the time. We're going to see it. He doesn't. Good. So this should be a raise to whatever his standard size is, which is 2 big blinds. Fine. Against the 2 big blinds, these should all fold. This should absolutely fold. If he called, I wouldn't be shocked. If he called, I wouldn't be shocked. And this king 9 suited, let me think if he should ever be raising the king 9 suited here.
No.
This is the 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the pre. And against the pre, the king 9 suited, has picture this range. There's a little bit of 3 betting of this king 9 suited. I don't expect him to find it. And here,
Versus a 2x?
I know it versus the 2.5x. So
Yeah, when they make it 2x, the 3 bets go way down. Like calling
Interesting.
becomes.
Oh, because you can
must-
just call so much profitably.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to leave this one up there, even though I had a window of it, just so I don't have to change it again. Okay. We're going to change this to the standard 9 max. We're going to do in the 2.5 version. This was the raise there. And the big blind. There's your king 9 suited with the raise. So that's the one that I remembered.
Yeah.
Now let's
look at-
change it.
Yeah, look at the 2x and watch
Yeah.
how all of that red goes away.
Interesting. Yeah. It's still, I mean, there's still a sliver of it, but there's so much less of it
Yeah.
because you pick up so much more here that you didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
Because all this was out in this range. All that. So when all that comes in, okay, great. Thanks for pointing that out. All right. And here we go. I fold. The 3-6 is going to call. We just know that because of the pause there, but that doesn't surprise us. And now facing the 2 of them, does the squeeze get more exciting? I have no idea.
Yeah, me either.
I think it doesn't probably, but let's see. Change to the GTO version. We have the raise there, the small blind calls, and the big blind. Oh, lots more
Yeah.
squeezing.
Yeah, a lot of it.
A lot of it. I do not expect him to do it. I don't expect our opponents know this range. This is non-intuitive. Most of us don't know these, so I don't expect he knows it either. All right. So here we go. Check range from the 3-6. Lots of checking from the big blind. And this hand doesn't have any reason to dunk out. Ace-7, absolutely bet. If he's going to go with the DTO theory, he would bet 2 big blinds here. If he wants to look at his hand and the properties of the board and all like that, he could bet bigger here. And I wouldn't fault him for it. So he kind of compromises and bets half pot, either because he thought of that, or because half pot's his standard size. To half pot, 3-6, of course, folds. And the king-9 suited should not fold, even though there are, full houses available. He should not be folding here. And should he check raise? The big blind defends more, again, on paired boards by check raising, but those are paired boards, not ace paired boards. Those are where he can have the card more than him, like ace-7-7. We can do some more check raising. So he should absolutely not check raise on the ace high board. He could be running into a buzzsaw. He should call. There we go. And on the turn, the 7, he should check again. The ace-7 should absolutely not stop betting. He's going to have no problem getting lots and lots of money in against an ace anyway. So because he has the flush draw beat, he should bet an amount that the flush draw calls now. Because he's going to be able, he's in position. So I think that size is not 15, not 11, 8 or 9, 8. He checks. He just makes it real easy for the flush draw to get there. Flush draw doesn't get there, but check. Now he's going to bet. And this is going to be our rare bluff. Here we go. Now, got to bet for value. It's so hard for your opponent to have an ace on this line, right? It really is. So while you're at the top of your range, he's not. So bet small to induce, bet small to get called by an 8. Bet half pot. His small is 75. And this guy decides the only way to win is to bet it. And here is our rare bluff, jam. All right. Does anybody want to see any part of that in the solver as if it were just a straight big blind and low jack -1 hand, or do we want to just move on? All right, we're going to move on. And we're going to move on to, it is Skate, you are up. And Skate, I give you this joy. Let me hit the little button to get Skate to unmute. And then we're going to think that Skate is having lunch. All right, Skate's having lunch. You can come back in when you do. Mike, I give you this.
Okie doke. All right, 6-5 can raise if it wants to. I don't typically raise those suited connectors that early. They raise, and it should raise and take it. But
Yeah.
what's going to happen is, shoot, ace-5 might call, ace-6 might call, queen-10 might call, king-10 might call, ace-2 might call.
Ace-2 is not calling.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, you're right. I see who the player is. Ace-2 is not going to call.
All right. Okay. But ace-5 calls.
Look at ace-6 now. Well, we might see a 5-way flop. All right. King-10 might call. Scotty, do you live up to do you practice what you preach?
Hell yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. This king-10 is extra terrible. This is the example of that. This is so much better a 3-bet than it is a call, and it's a better fold than a 3-bet.
Yeah. Yeah, this should have been a raise and take it there.
Yeah.
All right, king-10 should check. Now 5-6, this is actually not a bad spot to c bet because the board is so good for him as the original raiser, and his hand is really just kind of crap. Got some little backdoor action going. I think if it were me, it would probably depend on these players in here, and yeah, probably would just be checking. It's probably just not going to get folds enough.
So the fact that
Um,
this guy's an ace five here, so his stats is a V24.
I mean, his numbers kind of seem
That's fair.
decent-ish, but he's
Yeah.
short stack, and he flatted your somewhat early position. Were you low jack? Yeah, is somewhat early position raise. So that tells me I probably might want to c bet more often with him in there, and then the small blind could have any two cards. I might actually c bet here
Yeah. Okay.
more often than I might.
He does.
Well, he's going to get a call, and he might get two calls. I think the king 10. He's in a rough spot. He's got that backdoor flush draw going. He's really in a bad spot for it though. Probably should just fold. Maybe that's too tight.
Yeah. I have a very strong prediction of what he's going to do.
Oh, me too. He's gonna call.
He's going to call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. All right.
All right. Then it should go check. And at this point now, the five. If it were me, I'm done. I'm like,
Yeah.
took my shot. Probably had the best shot at it on the flop with that ace king high flop.
Yep.
And then so they did check the ace 5. Yeah, I would just check behind here with that hand.
Yeah.
He does. Let me get the 8 of
Who's
spades.
check raising this?
Yeah, really. Yeah, king 10 should just check and pray that nobody bets.
Mhm.
Again, the 5-6, now that it went check, check, check. Yeah, I mean, if it were me, I think I'm just done with it. I'm not gonna try to bluff into two players. So the ace 5 gets here now. Does he want to value bet? I mean, if it were me, I wouldn't, but
No.
he's going to because we know it's going to happen. But I don't think he should.
Right.
And he uses a small size in position against two players. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's not too bad. Like a blocker size, maybe that's not bad. The king 10 raises. I mean, I think he should win the pot. If I was ace 5, I would fold.
Right. He
And
does.
Okay.
Yeah. And
It
so
would be tough.
here's one example of somebody sniffing out the blocker size.
Yeah.
We had that other crazy example of somebody sniffing out the 3 big blind blocker size in a 50 big blind pot. So keep that in mind with your blocker bets. These are only 2 examples, and we don't know. We don't have mass data analysis. We have 2 examples, but I have the feeling people respond to them that way. I think bet small to induce is a real thing. Okay. All right. Up next is Sam. And then Skate, when you come back, if you hear this, you get a hand whenever you want one. All right, Sam, I give you this.
Okay, so ace is obviously folding here. Yeah, it's definitely going to fold around to the small blind. At these stakes, I don't believe that pocket sevens are ever folding from the small blind. I doubt that they're ever going to 3-bet either. Queen 9 of hearts, I believe that they're going to stick around as well, not put in that 3-bet either.
All right. Here's my prediction. This is me, and I'm gonna fold these sevens.
Okay.
And I'm folding sevens here to this early a position, and I'm folding to his bigger raise than normal.
Pretty disciplined, Scotty. I would say against the earlier the position, that's probably not a bad call just for your set mining, but you're right, the bigger size does make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Less profitable, yeah.
Yep. And there's a couple of ways of looking at this. One is against the bigger size, if when we put him on a whole lot of pocket jacks, a whole lot of kings, and some ace and his ace king that, you know, is scared,
Right.
you can say, well, when you hit your set, you make all the money. Okay, I got there. I'm at a position which makes it harder to make all the money. Okay. But the last part of this is there are so many opportunities to set mine at these tables with all this limping going on. Now, this is not mathematically correct because if it's correct to do it in this hand, it doesn't matter that there are better opportunities. You should take every good opportunity, right? I mean, just simple cash game logic is chips are worth $1. They're worth their value. So if the opportunity is profitable, it doesn't matter if it's only a little profitable compared to a lot profitable. But given all the variance that poker already has in it and the opportunity to take these higher value spots, why fuck around with the little edges when there are going to be such giant edges sticking out there? That's kind of the way I play.
I'll share with you what
Okay.
a good player had told me, and this is the difference between playing the 9 max tables versus like the 6 max tables, is you can flat those pairs a little more often against these early position, like the early position meaning under the gun +1, under the gun +2, much different than low jack, hijack, cutoff button on a 6 max table. But yeah.
And the reason is it the reason that their range is super strong, therefore you get paid? When
Yes, their range is much tighter in those earlier positions.
Okay. That's good to keep in mind. The GTO version of it, let's see. I happen to know that the GTO version of the small pairs in the big blind call all positions, you know, so you call deuces against the under the gun, you know, let's change him back to his 2.5 here. Under the gun raise, big blind, we call deuces. You know, we're happy to play every pocket pair here. But the small blind, not loving it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
so that may be an exploit that isn't a specifically GTO exploit. Small
Oh,
blind.
so small blind is even folding like jacks and tens a certain percentage of the time.
Yeah, against this early position. It just really respects the early position and doesn't like to play out of position.
Yeah, and it's also respecting the fact that that early position player is, they're considering them a GTO solid player.
Right.
As
Right.
opposed to when you do call with those pairs in the small blind, it's an exploit against population tendencies.
Right. And also,
Okay.
you're also depending on this not happening
True.
Right.
when you choose this exploit. Because this doesn't happen. Because this doesn't happen. And this doesn't happen. This might. People have heard of the ace-5 suited. But this does not happen in the real world, in our real world.
Right.
And so therefore this call you can call a little wider here. But you blast this up, but the more you blast this up, you know, in size, the more you can afford to play, you know, tighter and tighter in the small blind and more polar. And this sevens just don't fit into a tighter and tighter and more polar range for me. So queen 9 calls and should. I think even against a 3.5 size, I can't imagine that queen 9 folds here in our pre-flop only version. We can bump it up to 3 and we can only do low jack at 3, but yeah, queen 9 just isn't folding in the big blind. It's nowhere near. I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
On the very edge there, it should be 3-betting.
Yeah, which means
I wouldn't do that. I know in my games I would definitely call.
Yeah.
So it's obviously the wrong play to make, but yeah.
Yeah, the difference as these, if you look at the 4 big blind and 5 big blind open charts, it gets tighter and tighter. You know, you just
Right.
so much less defending in the big blind.
Yeah.
And so now push this up to 3.5 and make this guy even earlier. Fold. I probably wouldn't have folded. There we go.
All right, so big blind smashes this range.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to say that he does this every time, but he should consider checking with the intention of check raising some portion of the time
Yeah.
with his top pair backdoor flush draw.
Yeah. Good check.
Villain, if he's going to be, or aces, if he's going to be betting on this board, he needs to be betting with a larger sizing less often.
Yeah.
But he does have that ace of clubs blocker to a lot of big blinds calling range,
Yeah.
or 3-bet bluffing range with the small ace X. Yeah.
One correction here.
Yes.
Oh, on this one correction is that he wasn't under the gun 2, he was under the gun 1.
Oh, under the gun 1.
Yeah, I didn't
Is
see
he?
that. I looked there. So not so early. But still. Even bigger. Okay, good. So he checks. He follows your advice and goes for the bigger size.
Okay. Villain should be check raising. I'd say with this specific hand, maybe a third of the time. I mean, you're not really comfortable with a lot of turn cards coming out.
Yeah.
Flushes are going to be completing over cards, except for the queen, that you wouldn't really be happy seeing.
Yeah. So if I were
Yeah,
this
definitely
guy,
want to consider putting in the check raise here.
if I were this guy, I would be looking to check raise against his quarter pot, third pot, and, maybe even all the way up to 3 big blinds. When he goes 6,
Yeah,
my check raise just goes away.
right.
And so I just call here. Let's see what he does. He calls. Yeah. And we'll see if that's solver approved what I just said. This one's going to be worth looking at for that. Okay.
Yeah, because whenever the out of position player is facing larger raises, you check raise less often, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this check raise kind of just shrivels up to me there. Okay.
All right, so 10 of diamonds, checking our entire range. And then for aces, if he's going to be betting, he's going to be betting polar stack SPR 3-1. So if he's going to be betting it, I would say it needs to be at least 15 big blinds, 3/4 of the pot, going up to maybe 1.25 times pot. That way he can get it all on the river for any safe river cards.
Yeah. And there really isn't a river that he's not going to bet, right?
If there's any river that I would think that he wouldn't want to bet, maybe if a 8 comes out.
Maybe a 9.
Yeah, either 8, 9,
Yeah.
or 8 or 9.
Hmm.
8, 9, or a club.
Yeah.
So bets about pot here. So now is when I need to start seeing what in my range I'm going to be folding that I continued on the flop with.
Right.
Facing a pot size bet out of position, I'm folding out my flush draws. I'm folding out a lot of my straight draws. Not raising really anything here on the turn because I'm going to have 0.6 SPR on the river. So we could comfortably get it all in on the river with any 2 pair plus type of hands. Going to be folding out my pocket pairs at this point, 6s, 7s, maybe even 8s. But specifically with the queen 9, I mean, now I'm blocking some backdoor straight draws that he would be continuing with on the flop. His queen jacks.
Yeah.
I'm blocking those. So facing this much aggression, may even just want to fold out the queen nine.
Yeah, I don't know if
Right.
the queen nine folds 100%, but it's got to be folding at least 50% of the time, at least. You could
Yeah,
stay,
your backdoor heart draw is taken away.
right?
Yeah.
Do you want to stay in with your, do you want to stay in with a combo draw? Something like a 6-7 of clubs, a 7-8 of clubs?
7, 8 of clubs, 6, 8 of clubs. Trying
'Cause
to
you can get
think
here with those really,
of
you could be here with either of those easily.
if I'm going to stay around with that, I'm never calling this bet. I'm
Yeah, you're
always
gonna
going to be jamming here because if my draw does come in, it's going to be a lot tougher to get that paid off
Okay,
because those are the obvious draws that come in. The club draws, really the club draw. But I mean, yeah, SPR is being so low. Yeah, because I'm not getting as much fold equity as I'm thinking now since SPRs are so low. Maybe if we were 200 big blinds deep at this point, raising those combo draws and looking to bluff some of the time on the river.
right. And then what about what about the other, because it sounds like you're folding almost everything, right? You're not folding 9-10. You're not folding your your set of deuces and your set of fives because you're gonna check
Right.
raise. We got those. So it seems like you're folding so much. I guess what you've got left here is you're not gonna fold. You're certainly not gonna fold the 10 jack of clubs. You're not gonna fold a pair and a
No.
draw like that. So we'll keep all that. Are you gonna fold any tens here? What tens did you get here with that aren't two pair? 8-10 of
Okay,
hearts. Are you gonna fold
10-8.
8-10 of hearts? Because you got here with 8-10 of hearts, I think. Maybe you didn't. No, you folded 8. I folded 8-10 of hearts to that. Yeah, I folded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to that, yeah. If I don't
So-
have a pair,
Yeah, so it's a 10 in a club, and we're not folding a 10 in a club. And so,
so 10-8 of clubs, I would have that.
yeah.
Wouldn't have I don't think that I'd have the 10-7 here.
Right.
Jack 10. Some of the times I can 3-bet that.
Yeah.
In the big blind. But in this specific situation, probably best to just call, see the flop.
And you have you also have ace deuce of clubs in range, and we're not folding that.
Right.
So we're just not folding pair plus draw. Okay. Great.
So yeah, here have the pair, but I don't have any good draws.
Right. Okay. But he calls because he's not you, and we think that's a mistake. And
he sucks out.
right.
So do I ever want to lead here is the question. If I check, I'm hoping that my opponent has the overpair or the missed club draw and is going to be trying to get me off of any small pocket pairs.
Right.
If I'm even still in the hand with those at this point, facing a 3/4 flop bet and a pot turn.
Yeah.
So if I'm checking here, what am I hoping that villain has here that he's going to continue to bet with? So straight draws come in. So king jack of clubs is something that I have to be worried about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really just hoping for overpairs. Maybe
jack
ace queen. Yeah, jack queen. Ace queen of clubs, ace 10 of clubs is what I'm hoping that he has. So if I do lead here, I think that it just needs to be for a small amount. Something that could induce his bluffs to jam and just getting called by overpairs who are looking to check now that some straights get there. Two pair combos, things such as 9-10 and our exact hand that we have here.
So what's your size when
So-
you bet small?
So whenever I bet small here, I'm probably only doing a quarter pot.
Okay, 15. you
Just
bet
because I only have 45 big blinds in my stack. It wouldn't make sense for me to bet
Right.
25 or 30 big blinds here.
Right. So when you bet small, you bet 15, and when he jams on you, you do not fold. You lose to his straights, and you lose to
Yeah.
his sets, and you lose to all that, and you just go, I'm not folding. You're not going to get blown off it.
I don't think that I would get blown off of it in this specific situation. If I was much deeper, certainly could, but I still
Right.
beat a lot of his quote unquote value that he's
Right.
doing this with.
Right.
Sure,
Okay.
I'm going to get beat some portion of the time, but I think that my hand is too valuable for it to just go check, check.
Sounds good. My prediction is that when the solver has Jack Queen here in the ace position, it does not bet it. That's going to be my prediction. Okay, so we check.
Yeah, because he did bet pot on
Yeah.
the turn. So yeah, I think that solver does want us to check our entire range.
Okay, so we go here. He bets that, and this check raise doesn't count. It's the same as a call.
Right.
So he's not thinking anything, and there we go. All right, let's look at this in the lovely peek tool, because that will be fun. All right, so this is under the gun 1, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So there's his raise. He went to 3.5. And the big blind in this case is going, because we're at chippy V, is going to call the queen 9 suited. No, even we folded at 3. Even we folded at 3. So that's going to be a problem. Is the world over in our consideration? Yeah, we can't make this a 10 and do this. Well, anyway. 5-9 deuce.
Yeah, Peak doesn't let us do custom ranges yet, does it?
No. 5 of clubs, 9 of clubs, deuce of hearts, I believe. Deuce of hearts.
Yep.
Yep, there we go. Check range, just like you said. Aces bets. The suits the suits matter, but we don't need to learn about them right now. His bet was, but this is nice to see.
Right.
We
Yeah, he bet using the larger sizing.
Right. We're gonna look at we're gonna look at king 9 for just a moment here. Maybe we'll make a
Okay.
king on the river. That's what we'll do. We'll just make it a king on the river. All right, so when he bets small, our king 9 can raise with the clubs happily, with the hearts a little bit, and doesn't prefer the others. So there was our instinct there, that we can check raise it against the small size. He went even bigger than this, and then against the big size, our king 9 does exactly what we said. Check raises much, much less, even here. So that heuristic was right. Good. That checks out. He bets big. We call. We get the 10 of diamonds, which is exactly the same thing for king 9 and queen and our hand. It doesn't bring in a straight or anything. 9, 10, jack, queen. 9, 10, jack, queen, king. For the king 9, it brings in a straight draw. No, it doesn't. We're fine.
If they
Same
have
hand,
a
same
queen
hand.
jack, exactly.
That's the same hand. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So we check range, like you said. There he is with his aces. His aces are already getting a little nervous, but not folding. And he chooses to bet, and he chooses to go pot, which is
So
in this world,
15.7.
right. It was 20 because he went bigger each
Yeah.
time, but it's pot. So pot, are the 9s starting to be shook?
Jack
nine doesn't-
9.
Yeah.
That's really it.
two pair, yeah, jack nine, because that's the worst, that's the worst nine we have. So yeah, our nines are shook, which means if we had queen nine, we said we would start folding it already. And we do, because if we're folding jack nine some, we're folding
Right.
there. So that's right. And his call is okay. And the size was actually bigger, which makes this even more of a problem there. There's the call. And then the river, now we're gonna look at two versions of it. The queen of diamonds to see what the aces should do. The aces mix because they are not, they are no longer confident. The queen jack, when it comes in, needs clubs to bet. Needs clubs and diamonds to bet. Why? Maybe because of how often we have it. That's why. It's hard for us to get here. So we check our hearts and our spades. We never have diamonds, so it doesn't matter what they are. The clubs bet all the time, which is weird because
We're blocking some of his bluffing range now.
yeah. Well, his calling range. It's not his bluffing. He hasn't bluffed at all. Right.
Or yeah, I meant like
here's why.
club draws.
Here's why. When we have we don't want him to fold when we have the queen. It's top pair.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We want value. And so when we have clubs, he got here with lesser value. He now has a 9. He now has a 10 that can call us. That makes sense.
Okay.
You see that circular bit of,
Yeah, because now we have that 2 pair.
but we don't bet our queen jack, our other queen jacks when they get here this way. We do bet our aces. And for the king 10, for the other one, for the actual hand, we have to make this the king of diamonds. And now we see what our king 10 does. We still check range. He still bets something, and now we jam our king 9. We do not jam
Oh,
our king
it
9.
just calls.
Wow. Anybody
Well-
not jamming king 9 here?
Well, I mean, the guy already bet pot on the river, and we essentially just have a call.
What are the straights out here?
We
Jack queen,
have queen jack.
queen jack, and the other one it was jack king. So there's just as much of those ish. All right, I'm surprised that 2 pair isn't enough to jam here. What is?
It's like our sets and our straights. And that's it.
That's it.
Jack 9 as a bluff
Top
some of the
2 and 10?
times.
Top 2 doesn't even do it.
Yeah, Jack 9 as a bluff a third of the time since we have
Yeah.
the jack as the blocker to the straight.
Yeah. Seven, 9 without the blocker to the straight. 7, 9 because a boy can dream, right? That's why 7, 9 is
I
doing
guess
it.
so.
Okay. We're on to Richie. That was Sam, right?
Yes.
We're on to Richie if you want one.
All right.
And
I'm going to log off. Is 10:30 at night where I'm at right now,
All right.
and I got work in the morning.
cool. Good to see you, man. Look, we do it again tomorrow,
Alright.
same time. If you want to come, we'd love to have you.
Sounds good.
All
Where can I find these recordings?
They're posted on YouTube and the links are always in this place in Discord. I will show you where that is. Or you can just go to my channel and see it. In Discord.
Let me pull up YouTube real quick.
Yeah. Where is Discord here? Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's go to our study sessions Discord.
What's your channel name?
Scotty Meltzer, SCOTTYMELTZER. I'll put it in chat. There we go. And you will
Okay.
see,
Yeah, I found you.
you will see thousands of those. And then if you look back, you'll see juggling videos.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right. Skate is back. Skate, this is yours unless Richie speaks first.
Oh,
It's yours.
Richie, you want to go?
Nope, you spoke first.
Okay. Alrighty then. Okay, King 5, definitely too early for King 5 here.
Gonna remind you, gotta keep reminding you of this, Skate. It's not too early. He's not gonna do it.
You're right. It's
Just
all the
reminding
way.
you that it exists. All the way down to
The-
King 5 mixes. Perfectly fine to not play it, but
Yep. It's more, so it's pure in the hijack plus, but yes.
pure in the hijack plus, heavy in the low jack, and then in all the seats before it, it's like 50%-ish. You know, it's 50 and 33%. It's not nothing. But
Okay.
he's gonna fold it. People don't find it. Scotty finds it.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, ace 2 is definitely too early for that. Okay, so it's gonna fold around to, should fold around to 10 jack on the button.
So ace deuce is pure in the low jack, right?
Okay.
Ace deuce suited is a pure open in the low jack.
Is
And
it?
even here, these are the ones where we don't do it. So it's not too early. He might not find it, but just to remind you of the lovely pre-flop ranges that we get at 2.5. Here is your ace deuce in the low jack. There was a raise here.
Yeah.
Here is your ace deuce in the low jack, pure. There. Oh, I was wrong. I was thinking ace 3. You're right. Too early. I'm an idiot.
Yay.
Pure there. It's ace 3
Yes.
that is pure in the pure here, half here, and a sliver there. Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
but anyway, this is too early. Good thing he finds it and he finds it huge.
Whoa. Right. I don't think, yeah, after that, size open, I don't think anybody should call.
I agree. This is madness.
Okay, 9-7 calls. Great for them. Okay, it should be heads up because even eights, well, no, is eights in the, yeah, eights is small blind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, eights could fold, I guess.
Yep, if it were me, I would fold. However, what's going to happen is 10 jack is going to call and 8-8, even 8-8 might call. And this 9-7 this is a bad idea. This is madness. This is insanity right there. And then the 8-8, I don't have any opinion about. He could be going for set mining here. He's 97 against 297s and 162. So yeah, he goes for it. If this guy calls, our
Okay.
session is over and we're all going to go play poker right now on Ignition.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Check the ace deuce. Ace deuce. We have two pair, but it's very multi-way. I think we want to start getting someone mentioned check raise. From the ace deuce. No, I think I would bet it to get a better worse ace to call. That's not a two pair. Multi-way. But they check.
He goes for he's gonna hope that with two players behind, someone stabs.
Okay, I mean I don't hate it, but
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And
I
this
would
is the
want-
one, this is the thing that we saw, that we've now said a bunch of times today, which is this check for a stab behind is not happening enough in our games. They're not stabbing a lot. So maybe this needs to come out of, maybe this needs to come out or be reduced in our, as a standard play. Cause my standard play here was, oh, we check behind, right? And maybe we don't. There it goes.
Yep. Okay. All right. Nobody should have 4-5 here. Yeah, nobody should really have 4-5. So, ace deuce should bet.
The eights should of course check again, right?
Yeah. Eights are
Yeah,
gonna check.
They're
Yeah.
marginal. Okay. Ace deuce now kind of has to bet. He
No,
really thinks he's Phil Hellmuth. And of course, Phil Hellmuth also thinks he's Phil Hellmuth. So there you
trappy,
go.
trap.
Mhm.
Yeah, check around, and we're gonna see a river. Should see a river. Whoa. Okay, now if ace deuce is not bet, I don't know what's. Okay, ace deuce should bet. They have to bet. Bet. They don't bet.
Right.
I don't understand, but yeah, it's
I
gonna.
mean, there
Ace
is
deuce
some
is.
theory behind it in that you're blocking everything that they can value, but you can value bet, so you're trying to get a stab. It's really, it's not, and also you're at the very top of range, right?
Yeah, that is
But
a valid
it
point.
doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it's not really the best play against humans, because humans don't have enough bluffing region here.
Yeah.
Clearly,
And
he's gonna get what he wants here,
Right.
but generally it doesn't work.
So you're playing as villain 139. I don't know how you got here, but you are here because you did not call the 5 big blinds here. But faced in this situation, should villain 139 ever bet in this situation now? That everyone has, that everyone has said, I don't want this pot, I don't want this pot, I don't want this pot.
With no showdown value, I don't
No,
believe
villain
so.
139. He has showdown value.
Oh, he has the 9. I see. Right. Okay. He has a 9 exactly. I mean, as played, he probably thinks he has the best hand. Should he bet? So multi-way. Probably
That's
not,
the
because
question.
somebody could have a better 9. So I would say no.
I agree with you 100%. I think that the only reason this guy should consider betting his 9, he should not be betting it for value. The only reason he should consider betting it is as a bluff to try to get Jack and King to fold here with this guy's open of 5. That, that open of 5 reeks of those hands we've seen. And I think, given that he has a 9, he doesn't need to make that bluff. This guy needs to make that bluff, not him. He should not bluff this. He should not bet. That is Scotty's decree. That is the worst play he can make.
Yep.
That's mergy.
The only
Ace
play
fold
worse,
around.
yeah.
Yeah.
The only play
Raise.
worse would be to call this check raise. Which he doesn't do. He can't. He's not gonna do this. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I would have rather seen that from the Jack 10. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I take it back. I mean, I would have done it, but his maybe he wins more money that way. Well, yeah, maybe he wins more money that way.
In this, well, let's play it out. If he plays this normally, he should be raising to 2.5 or 3, whatever his normal size is, and that's perfectly fine. He raises that there. Okay. It's 1, 2, 3. It's one spot too early, but so what? He raises to 2.5. The 9-7 suited should be folding, but if he calls 5, he's going to call a 3. So there's his call there. And then these guys play the same. On the flop, if he bets right out, the 9 might call him one time. The other guys fold. The 9 might not, because it's so massively multi-way, and then it's over. The 9 doesn't call him. He doesn't get any more money from the 9 there. So yeah, he happened to get the most money possible there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. don't think it's right. I don't think it's the best play against the most common ranges and the most common players. Maybe I'm wrong.
Right, and like with that, like when the backdoor is hitting on the turn, him not betting, I think yeah, it was a mistake because he could bet to get a flush draw to call, I guess.
Yeah, there was money there. Richie, do you want a hand? All right, in that case, we're moving on to Larry.
All right. Let's do some
I give
DGen.
you nonsense. I give you a hand that should be folded to the big blind.
Yeah, I don't really understand what's gonna happen here. All right, so let's anticipate what the fish will do. So we have a broken stack, cut off hijack, low jack. He's going to play jack 8. He's gonna limp it.
All right,
Excuse
or
me.
the 3-7. Could be the 3-7. Oh no!
Do early limp. So I predict the 7-3 will over limp. There we go.
Definitely.
No, good for him.
Okay, and then the ace-4, I mean, no one needs to over limp here,
No.
and ace-4 should check option.
I'd like to point out the only hand worse than the jack-9 is the one that called him. You know, the one dominated hand. All right. Oh, that's interesting.
Now it got interesting. Yeah. So I think this has got validity if you've got the suited combo, but I don't think this is good enough.
Here's why it's good enough. Look at this guy's VPIP.
That's
80.
valid. That's a good point.
So with this 89 and this 56, you're getting close to a lot of any two cards.
So I think you have a good point. I think if you are going to make this play, you need to just invest more heavily in trying to. You want folds. You need to invest more heavily. Number one, you should be on to 6 bigs.
Yeah.
5.5, arguably. I think if I was going to make this play, if I was going to make this play with ace-4 suited, I would actually go to like 7 or 8.
Okay.
I want a size where I'm inducing higher percentage of folds.
Right. So I've been playing live, and the size that's been getting lots of folds here is 6.5.
Big blinds?
Yeah, 6.5 big blinds.
So you're playing like 5-5, right?
I'm playing 3-5-10.
So
I
you're
go to
going to
$65
60
with
bucks, 70 bucks.
$65.
Okay.
The theory size there is 55, you know.
Yeah.
And in my case, if you counted the small blind, it would be 58. But I've been doing 65 there.
And so are you using that same size in position, out of position?
No, I go smaller out of position. I go 50 at 2 limpers, I go 55.
You go smaller in position.
In position, yes. I go in position, I use the exact sizes, meaning 1 limper, I go to 45, 2 limpers, I go to 55, 3 limpers, I go to 65. The exception was yesterday, I had aces and I went to 40 instead of 45 against 1 limper.
So what you're
it's
finding with
Didn't end
that
well.
sizing, are you finding you are generating folds in your heads up?
Yep, I'm generating lots of folds.
Okay.
I'm generating lots of folds. I get some heads up. Mostly I just get all folds.
And no
And
flop, no drop. Is that all rake free?
$2 drop with no flop. $7
Jesus,
drop.
fucking fool around in California.
Yeah, I don't fuck around in California. So yeah, so 5.5 is too small, and with his ace-4, seems
I
like
would go, yeah, if I was playing this game, I'd go like 7.
I think
but,
7, right? Eight's
what
not-
else?
Eight's fine, but I think 7's enough.
He's
but yeah.
going gangster. These guys should just fucking fold.
Yeah.
Whatever. This is a
Right.
this is a party of fish. This is like we're seeing like just like carp. This is like a school of salmon.
Right. Now, is this the same guy with the ace deuce suited? This is the same guy. So we can now predict how his play is going to go.
Okay, so I was away for the ace deuce suited hand. So well, I'm betting a lot here, and he has an ace. This is kind of an interesting situation. Got a back door.
Oh, give me 1 second.
Very, very dry texture. I think
It's just,
So with the dry texture, I mean, actually, there can be no drier texture. This is as dry as it gets. Um, I think I just want to bet, but it's just kind of weird because it's like, what are you getting? What are you getting called by? Yeah, I mean, if I was playing this game, I'd bet. I'm gonna bet. I don't really want. I just want to take this down. I bet half. I bet bigger than what the default multi-way sizing is because of the texture and because I'm playing an exploitative ISO bluff range. So I bet this guy, I'm guessing this guy's gonna bet half. He checks. All right, he checks. I don't. This hand is not good enough to. This hand is not good enough to check raise here. Let's see what happens. So check through, checks through. Okay, now he's taking the naughty trap line, and so he should continue the trap line now that he's nutted. Got what he wanted. Villain Jack H, you see the writing on the wall. Generally I'm not going to trap two streets here. I'm just going to take it. But it's weird because you're not getting called by. The only thing you're getting called by are better. He check raise here. It's hard for him to have a worse hand. He's given an ace deuce on the table. Yeah, I think I just call because it's like, what's gonna call you that's worse? It has to be like a really, really bad player, which this guy clearly is. I think generally I just call here. I don't think I'm ever getting called by anything worse. And just let him bluff again on river. Check. And then, okay. Now, no straight, no flush. Again, I feel like let me see. So kicker. The queen plays, the 7 plays. But I'm losing to ace 5 and ace 6, right? Am I reading my kickers right? I think I go ahead and call, just call. I don't know what's calling me that's worse. I just call. I don't know raise what's gonna call with the raise. Maybe 2 pair. Fuck it. Yeah, let's shove it. 2 pair. Maybe he's got like queen 7 suited or something. Queen 7 suited. I mean, it's a limped range. Maybe he's got queen 2 suited. Queen 7. Yeah, just shove it. Just shove it. I changed my mind. Stick it in the face. Okay, whatever. Like you're ever falling to a shot, that kind of sucks, but. All right, interesting hand. Who's the next victim?
It's just you, Larry.
Just me now.
Yeah, where did Scotty go?
I think probably Scotty's having a conversation offline, if I had to guess. He is.
I'm here.
multitasking.
I'm here. I just
He's-
hadn't had my mic on.
He's on mute.
So, I was talking that whole time, Larry, with you. You and I had a conversation and you were pausing during all my
Well,
you're
that's
pausing while I
that
talk.
doesn't surprise me for a Scotty conversation.
Yeah. So I agreed with you on all that, except for the river.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
has the best hand here all the time, but but he never gets called by worse.
yeah. You're right, but
And this
I
guy
mean-
can have better.
he never has. I mean, I guess you just. What do you think? Do you shove here or do you check raise
No.
because you want to get called by queen 7 suited? It's a limped range, right? So he's got crazy
Queen
stuff.
7 suited is not 2 pair. You keep calling it 2
Okay.
pair. It's
Yeah,
not.
that's a good point.
It's queen with no kicker.
But dude, he's a limper. Does he know that?
That's true. So you could do a fish against fish exploit here.
Yeah.
But there's so much. If this guy's playing that bad, there's so much more money you're gonna get from him on safer places than this. Because almost always what happens is you raise here and he folds. Almost always.
Yeah, okay. I think
So
call's
that's what
fine.
I think. That's what I think. The fact that he was thinking about a check raise here, that he checked because I think he didn't check because he was scared here. He checked to check raise here. And then when he looked at it and he went, I'm gonna check raise, but against this size, he went, I shouldn't check raise now. It made sense. He just bombs them out. They can't have anything.
Yeah,
Except to beat him. All right,
it's hard for him to have anything.
moving on. We are on skate.
Okay, okay. King 5 suited, why not? Let's open it.
Yep,
They're
he's
gonna
not gonna
fold.
find it. He's not gonna find it, but that's fine. But I like the
Nope.
fact that you remembered it. Good.
Yep. Okay, ace 8 suited, I think, yeah, it's too early for that, so fold. Sevens.
Ace 8 suited?
Yeah, well, I mean, I play live poker, so, you know,
It's not
You
too
guys-
early for that even live. This is there's a poster. You're in the low jack. You have a suited ace. You should
low jacks.
open this.
Let me look
Open
at
this.
my
Let
notes
me
here.
see. Let me see if ace 8 suited
Where's
is
my
in on
notes?
3 big blind open range. And Mike, would you take a look at like the 4 or the 5? Because like live poker is often a 4 big blind open. Let's take a look at the 4 big blind opens on this.
What is that, low jack?
Yeah, we're low jack.
Oh.
Anybody who's got that.
Maybe.
All right. 3 big
Um,
blind opens in the
yeah.
low jack are
Yeah, I'm wrong. Yeah, it's all suited aces, right?
yeah, all suited aces for 3. How about for 4 or for 5?
All the
Yeah.
way through, all the way through up to 4, start excluding ace 3 suited.
Right. So ace 8 in the low jack is just there in live poker.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wrong.
Thank you. Start opening that, you nit.
Okay.
Let's see what he does.
Okay.
If you were to open this though, what size would you open it to? Given this weird part 5 big blind post.
I don't know. I would open the same size, like 3.
Okay.
3 big.
All right. He limps.
Okay. Okay.
This atrocious limp is made even worse by this half big blind post here. He's giving someone in position fabulous odds to play against him.
Yep. I imagine they're gonna call. Well, let me see. Yeah, I imagine they will. I guess they're gonna call. I don't know.
If it were me, I would raise. Let's see what he does. He calls.
9-8 suited. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I mean,
What would
it is
you
a
do?
suited.
What would you do with 9-8 suited there with 2 limpers to you?
I would call.
I
Suited
like
connector on the button.
I like it.
Ultimate position. Call.
Would you consider squeezing it?
No.
Okay. I would consider it and then not do it. That's too tight. Okay.
Do 7. But
Oh my God.
Got him.
And a flush draw.
Oh, I thought do 7 had the best hand, but we have 7s in there,
No,
so
it doesn't.
Oh.
This is
Cooler.
like a made up hand.
I know. So these two guys are going to lose. This guy's going to lose 100 big. This guy's going to win all the money. This guy's going to lose 99 big blinds. We know that. How much is ace 8 going to lose?
wow. Okay.
Become runner, ace, ace.
I think he's going to lose. He limped. He's going to lose his stack. All right.
Okay. I mean, let's see. I mean, I don't know what's supposed to happen because we can't solve this, but I imagine it's gonna go.
You're going to play as the one hand that you could be here. You're the big blind because you didn't get a chance to fold your deuce 7. So as the big blind, what are you going to do here?
Check.
Me too. All right. He does whatever he does. Oh, wait, we're going to predict what they're going to do now. because we're trying to get models in our head. So I thought he'd bet. He checks.
Yeah, I think it's gonna check to the turn,
Mhm.
maybe. Right?
The sevens might bet one big blind.
They might bet. They might bet.
Nope.
Okay, now we're gonna see.
Yes!
Now we're gonna see
Oh,
some betting.
please, runner, aces. Oh, please.
Now we're gonna see some betting.
This
Okay.
guy's losing 70 big blinds.
Deuce 7 is gonna bet
What size?
the pot.
Good, at least. If it were me,
At
I'd be
least.
betting, I would bet 3.5 to 4.5, hoping that somebody had an ace. And
Mhm.
trying to get max value against the ace and not fuck around with trying to get value from some weird 8-9 draw or something like that. I would just bet big. He checks.
Okay. Well, I do have the worst hand, but they don't know this. But
All right.
okay, so we're gonna see. Yeah, Ace 8 is gonna bet. What size will they go? Two bigs. Okay. Sevens could start raising here, especially
They
with the
can.
double. I mean, they have the best hand, right? But there's a double flush draw on the board.
So they got value to get from those flushes while they're still drawing.
Yep.
What size?
So let's go. I don't know, just off the top of my head. Let's go like 10, I guess.
That's big. Yeah. I'm thinking if it's me, I'm thinking I'm going 6 to try to make sure the flush draws are priced in.
Okay.
But he calls, which I thought was a chance he might do that. All right.
I mean, yeah, I like 6 better. It is a paired board, so yes.
Yeah. Right. So now it's time for the deuce 7 to do what?
I think they're gonna do a little clicky click. I'm not sure what size they're gonna go to, but they're gonna click.
All right. I like the raise, and if it were me, I would like aces to call. I would love the flush draws to call. I think I can get that with a raise of 8. I think 10, I might start getting some folds. I can go 8, or that's what I think.
Okay, I'm not surprised either. I mean, they played.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
That is very hopeful that somebody bets the river. He's really, because, and boy, am I hoping for an ace. But now I think the ace 8 might not go broke, because he was going to go broke when he had top pair and the flush draw. He may not go broke with just top pair, unless the turn is an 8 or an ace 4. All right.
Yeah, especially with the big blind calling there. Okay. Okay, so big blind has been passive all along. I think it is time for them to not be passive, and they should bet.
Okay.
Or they can bet.
Yep. I think they go for the check raise again. I mean, if you're going to take this line, I think you stay with it, but.
Okay, good point. And the ace bets again, thinking they have the best hand.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, as we could see. And sevens is going to raise.
Now he should finally raise because he shouldn't trust that he's going to get this guy's money. He needs to raise more than 3 because he needs to get more than the money that this guy would have put in. So he needs to go to 9 or 12 or shoot the moon for 15. He goes 8. He really wants the call.
Do 7. Do 7. That's strange. You know what? I think they're gonna call.
Yeah. This has got to be what he was hoping for. I guess he was hoping for a bet and a call, and then he check raises. But
Mhm.
now-
Good check raise. Let's, from my count, he is beaten by, I think, 6 combos. There's 3 combos of sevens and there's 3 combos of aces.
And he's beaten by 3 combos of 4s. Not that anybody has it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if 4 is getting.
There he goes.
Okay.
Now this guy can get away from it. And so this guy only lost 5 big blinds.
Yep. He went all in.
Such an easy fold for this guy now.
I don't like it. I mean, it was a limp party pre-flop, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, anybody could have ace deuce, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we didn't even count the ace deuce, Larry.
Yeah, ace deuce.
Yeah, which
Mhm.
absolutely.
Two combos, ace deuce.
All right,
Yep.
there we go. Because of how this was played, ace eight got away with just losing post flop 5 big blinds.
Well, he's got a story for his study group,
He does,
poker drinking buddies. He
exactly. More likely.
lost his stack with a full
Lost his
house
stack.
opposed
Yeah.
to 7 deuce.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that's what he gets for Well, I mean, he had no choice, right? He limped.
No, he had no
7 deuce.
choice. This guy,
Yeah,
that's cool.
He didn't do anything wrong.
This guy is going to lose all his money. It's the order. The thing that I think he did wrong was that he didn't get value on the turn from lots of hands that were going to give him more money that they might not be there on the river. He let the clubs and the diamonds brick off so they couldn't pay him. And by the order of it, he also let an ace escape because an ace is not folding to this raise, just this one raise right here, because he can still be on the draws. And certainly not this ace. He just gets 6 or more. Now, as it turns out, he loses all, he's going to lose it all. And it's just money that 7-7 got, but I still think he misplayed that part of it. All right.
Yep.
And I, of course, think that the ace 8 misplayed the pre-flop. And we are on to, I believe it is Mike.
Well,
It
alrighty.
is Mike. I give you
You give me blind versus blind
I
action.
give you a very
right?
reasonable hand. This is going to be reasonable.
So that's what should happen. Let's see if anybody upsets the apple cart.
Nope.
All right. So raise. Queen Jack suited to a raise here. Probably you're able to 3-bet this if you'd like.
Mhm.
You can probably call it if you like.
Yep.
And could be player dependent for me. Let's see. We got some decent-ish stats from the small blind. I might 3-bet this more often here.
He goes for the call.
He calls.
And this is what that range looks like, just to remind us. We'll do the wizard just because it's the one that's up. The wizard has a 3.5, and that's where it is. That's the wizard's range.
It's a little bit complicated to remember. Huh?
Yeah. But it's your good hands, your low suited aces and your offsuit aces. That's the main body of it. And these bluffs here. All right. I mean, you want a really complicated one. Look at this nonsense. This is the one that I bothered to learn like a crazy person. This one is really, that's the one that's hard to remember. All right.
All right.
But he
so
does
you
this,
see a
which
flop
is,
here.
acceptable. Flop.
All right. So out of position, small blind with tens can check a lot. They can c bet here. I would probably lean towards c betting. There's this flop, paired flop like this. You typically get a lot of c bets more than like kind of some of the other flops. But this is really kind of an interesting flop for somebody who just flats the big blind. Yeah, I would c bet. I would, especially with a 10 of diamonds.
Okay, he does.
And having the queen jack here, I would just call.
I agree. I might, by the way, I might check call these tens as opposed to c bet them out of position. But
Yeah, it'd be
Gonna-
interesting to see what theory says. I'm sure you still check a lot, probably in the 50-50 range.
yeah, this seems fine. And this seems totally right.
Yeah.
Facing the bet.
Ooh, this is really kind of a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if I'm tens, I've gotten to here. I would probably default to checking. Yeah, I wouldn't bet here, so I would check. I don't know that you'd want to, in theory, bet very often.
I want to check here all the time. with
Yeah.
these tens. I strongly want to check. I want to check strongly. That's the,
They do with this weird one big blind bet. That's interesting. If I was queen jack, that would really throw me off. I'd be like, what the hell is this? And my top two, I mean, 9x is definitely in range here. I mean, do they bet one with 9x? That's weird. This is weird spot. Do we want to raise for value against these blocker size bets when you don't have anywhere near kind of nut type hands? Now, I'm just calling.
okay, I'm raising. And I'm not raising because he has tens. I'm raising because of Larry's theory, which is this is a guy trying to get a cheap river card.
Mhm.
Therefore, I don't want to give him a cheap river card. This is a zero-sum game. If you want something, I want you to not have it. And this makes me exploitable in that you could do this with queen nine here. You know, and you could do this with pocket nines, but you're not doing that. You're greedier than that. So I like that raise.
I liked your where you put it there. If someone wants something, we don't want them to have them in a zero-sum game.
There are every so often, there are these rare cases where he wants something and we want the same thing.
Wow.
But it's rare. And this is not one of those cases. All right.
Yeah, well put.
All right. So he raises. I like it.
And
And now the tens, I think the tens, they could probably call here just based on what he's done, his action. Like if he checks here and gets this bet, you call. So
Not too big. Yeah. So what
Should
is
we-
the river that allows the check raise? Is it going to be a 10? Or is it going to be an 8? Or is it going to be a king?
Or is it gonna be a, wow.
Okay.
all right, so we called the weird check raise, and then we
Not a check raise. The weird, just bet raise.
bet, right, yeah. We bet and they raise, the weird bet raise. And then we kind of bank here on when we can get value from a shit ton of hands. They can continue to bet a shit ton of hands and bluffs. So I think we just check. We check and wait for them to bet.
check and pray.
And kind of evaluate because I don't know. Yeah, no, we're 100% winning the spot. They don't have queens or jacks,
Right.
or
pocket nine.
probably not even pocket nines. So I mean, we're just at the very, very tip top of range here.
We really are.
So we'll see what they bet
Right.
and evaluate. If
And-
I'm queen jack, I'm checking.
Yeah.
I'm checking
You're
right
turning
now.
it into a bluff. If you
I'm
bet
not
it.
betting. No.
Right.
not
I'm saying, yeah, I'm saying if you bet queen jack here, your turn.
Yeah.
I mean, ace queen might call you, but generally you're trying to rep that you have the straight. That's what should be betting. Yeah. And the one way he can bet here is if he's betting with the intent to fold, to instantly fold, then he's allowed to bet here. I think he shouldn't bet here.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't think this. Yeah, this isn't good enough for value
No.
threshold with this texture.
Yeah. He gets called by ace queen, maybe. He gets called by queen 10. Probably. And that's about it that he beats. He gets called by aces and aces. Yeah, he gets called by aces. He gets beat by
and
kings.
you get beat.
Yeah.
Aces and kings are beating you.
Yep. But there should be a trivial. Oh, yeah, he makes it that big. Just hoping the guy's got. Guy can't have ace king,
Yeah, he's not going to have ace king.
right? Just hoping the guy's got a 9, a soft played 9, right? Because it was bet call. Yeah, bet. Oh no, there was a raise. Yeah, bet call, bet raise. He could have a soft played 9. And he could be hoping for jack. He also does jack 9.
Yeah.
Jack 9 is believable. So yeah, so I don't hate this at all.
King 8 maybe, but yeah.
There we go. Okay. This is. This is fun with solver. Small blind raises. Big blind, the queen jack offsuit, right? Oh, queen jack suited. Right, so here we go. Queen jack suited in peak is a call because the raise is to 4. And there's no rake, so you don't mind just seeing flops at all. No post flop, really. You do not have small blind post flops yet. Yep, okay. Little note there.
Do your trick, Scotty. Do your trick where you fold every position before.
I'm gonna do that too, yeah. Now let's try the trick. And if so, then we got this. All right. Fold, fold, fold. We should be able to jump all the way to there with the folds. Yep, we got that. Now we have the raise. Now we have the call. Yeah. Yep, they haven't done them yet. All right. Since we said we'll do it, we will blow this one on it. All right, here we go. Raise. Big blind calls. Oh, shut up.
I think you're in pre-flop only.
Yeah, I am. I am. All right. Let's do this. We're in the NL50. We are in the opening size GTO for fun. Not that it matters. We are in the small blind. We raise to 3. Good, that does that. Here is our lovely call. Thank you. The board is 9 of diamonds, 9 of hearts, queen of diamonds. Nine of diamonds, 9 of hearts, queen of diamonds. All right. And here we are with our lovely 10-10. And so you bet the 10-10 and I wanted to check it. Both are okay. It does both. He bet it. Right? If I remember correctly. He did he bet small. And what does our queen jack do? So when, let's try this one more time. Enough of these hitting the buttons wrong. So he bets 33 with his 10-10. And the queen jack does not want to raise. The queen jack suited only wants to raise with hearts. It can do the others, but it likes hearts. Other than that, mostly calls. Great. Then we pick up a jack on the turn, and that is the jack of hearts, if I remember correctly. Yes. Jack of hearts on the turn. And now, at this point, I think the 10-10s were checking pure. They do. His bet of 1 big blind, which does not exist, is the equivalent of a check. And I think the queen jack is going to bet here from the big blind. Steps in there, bets, yeah, it's betting pure with the suiteds, and the offsuits are mostly betting. If you faced a small bet, this is bigger than that one. Let's just see how we respond here. Now our queen jacks mostly call that size. But we're going to call this check bet because that's what kind of happened. And the size of 75 is acceptable, and that's close to what he did. And the 10s should absolutely call with their draw and their pair. Easy. 10 of who cares on the river. There you go. You can do either one. Both make sense. Bet it out, check it.
Yeah, and the sizing choices are up to 88 am I reading that right? Yeah, 88 up to a big size, up to a B88.
Yeah, yeah. No overbet.
What
But
does it perceive as 10's equity here on this texture?
A lot. Let's see what the number is. It's
Yeah,
strategy
there.
plus.
Yeah.
Strategy plus equity?
That's
Or strategy
fine.
plus EV?
Or just equity.
Okay,
Can you go?
Yeah,
Yeah,
almost
99%.
Yeah.
99.6, all of it.
Oh, yeah, all of it.
You have all the equity.
Okay.
Right. Now, when we check, which we do, I thought the jack queen should not be betting.
Yeah, I agree. This texture is frightening.
Yeah.
Can you go to breakdown and then we can look at what the value threshold is?
Yes.
Other people like to do it different ways, but I like this way.
Straight.
Yeah,
And look at how weak your straight is.
yeah.
in
So
value compared to what you can have.
looking at the hand class bands is interesting here, right? So if you have to have like, you really only consistently bet with with what it perceives as the highest equity straights.
Right. Which
And you
are,
don't use the big size.
right. And these are straights that block full houses,
Yeah, well put.
right?
You need the
So
straights to block the house.
the easy full house blockers are the 9, right? And so here, these are full, jack 9, these are your full houses.
Yeah,
Right.
so the big
These are full
sizing
houses.
starts the full houses, right?
Then you go here and now you're gonna have your kings that block the full house. King 9 blocks it. King with a full house blocker, all the way down to king queen, which is still a full house blocker. Because it blocks the pocket queens and it blocks queen 9. So this is still a king with a full house blocker. Now we drop down to all the straights that don't have blockers and they're all the same. And the 10
Yeah,
is,
mixing.
I don't know why the 5 is, I mean, these have got to be all the same number, right?
Inequity?
Yeah, the 10, the difference between the 10 king, the difference between king, that king 10 is below king 5.
Yeah,
suited.
yeah.
That's just silly, but that's fine. So all these kings can bet all the way down to a straight. And this straight doesn't bet. This one crazy straight doesn't bet.
Yeah. Looks like it's more than one, but yeah.
Oh, here's why. It blocks the calling range. He can call with an 8. So this
That's
one
valid.
wins all the time, but it wins no money. And when it doesn't win, it loses.
So are the bluffs at the very bottom, let's just focus on no equity bluffs, are they
Those are gonna be fun.
chock full of 9s?
No, they can't, a 9 can't be no equity. There, I'm gonna look at it a second, but just basically, so there you go. No straight, no 8 straights bet. So his check to induce was silly because this guy never bets. Okay, now we go down here to the def ones. Well, gotta shoot my way out. That's those.
Yeah.
Those are shoot my way outs. And these are shoot my way out. Yep. These are all, it's all shoot, you just shoot your way out at the bottom. And the fact that you have a pair of deuces is the equivalent of having 2-3. It's just that because technically this beats that, it's higher in the graph. These are all 0, right?
Yeah.
This is just all 0.
Okay.
So you get here, you need some blockers. What blockers do you have? So you got here with diamonds, so you bet it. It's not that you don't worry about your blockers. So you don't have a 10-4 that isn't diamonds. So that's how you got here. And you bet your 10s as a bluff. And I guess technically they block 9-10 a little bit. That's nice. And they block 9-10 and they block 10-10.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And then here, these are, you just lose.
Well, I've given up.
You lose. And here you sometimes win. You sometimes win,
Yeah.
you know. Ace 9, I mean, even ace 9 isn't betting. Yeah. Down to the last one, the worst one that you might win with is ace 10. It says ace 10 can win.
I think the big thing here to take away is.
Yeah.
Really
All
is
right.
straight. It's not even on this crazy texture straights. Hardly good enough to value that.
Yeah, straights with a blocker value bet. Straights don't even value bet. So his So this is so hopeful that this check is gonna work. And my belief was, if I remember correctly, we don't make it, do we? Or do we make it sometimes? Yeah, we make it sometimes and try to get him to bluff. I guess. Was that what happened on the?
Yeah,
on the
I
final
think
night? Yeah, but we didn't do it very often, as my
I
memory.
think we mixed. I could be mixing with a different hand though.
Yeah, we did. No, we mixed. We
Yeah.
did mix, giving him a chance to bluff. Not a chance to bet a straight. So, okay. That's what happened. All right, it is going, oh, good. We can end on finally a hand that I'm gonna play. We have not had many of my hands. We're at 12:09, so I don't think we can trust that we're going to get another hand of mine in the next
Yeah, it's fine.
20 minutes. So this seems like a good time to end. And who's up? It is. That's hand. Who did that last hand?
Mike,
Okay, Richie, this is perfect. We end around. Richie, are you there?
Yeah, go for it. I'll
All
end
right, do
with
this one. Close us out, Richie.
yourself.
Take it home.
So we'll fold to you, who should open. I don't know what your standard size is. Seems good. King 10 should fold. But yeah, calls.
The only
Two
one,
8
everybody
should
else was gonna
fold.
fold.
Yeah. Does the Jack 9 fold as well? They're quite wide. Not hugely wide, but a little bit wide, aren't they? They should fold, but they might actually
Yeah,
limp
they
in.
call.
Yeah. Call in. Excellent.
Mm.
So Jack 9, what have they done? They've hit an open ender. Lovely. But they should check it. Yourself now. Be in middle position against two people. And one of them's quite loose behind you. I don't know what their aggression, how aggressive they are. I think you would still probably bet small here, is it? Because you don't want anyone to see anything for free. So yeah, I'd probably go with a continuation bet, 33 here. Don't know what you feel is the right play.
So, now I'm now feeling that I should continuation bet this almost all the time.
Yeah.
After our initial study, I had been, and so it's very possible I'm going to check this with the intent of check raising against a bet and a fold, check calling against a bet and a call, and folding against a bet and a raise.
That's what I was thinking, but what is you, why you changed your opinion?
Because the king 10 position has not been stabbing enough. And so we just haven't been able to get those check raises.
Okay, that's valid.
It's
We
he's
just
supposed
don't
to,
get enough check raises.
right. That's why I'm gonna make this change.
Do you
And-
mean the King 10 doesn't stab enough when they're out of the button, like when they're limpers behind? That type. Would button stab more?
No, it's what we've seen is this. We check a lot in the sandwich and in early positions because the last player, whoever it is, whether the
Yeah.
button, whoever's the last to play, GTO wise is supposed to bet wide.
Okay.
Because they bet wide, we can do a lot of check raising, some check folding, and some check calling. And plus, we also get to see what happens. We get to see if it goes bet raise. So those are all the reasons we want to do this. But because this guy checks so much, that's what we found, that they don't bet near as wide as GTO says, we don't get in our check raises, which are a vital part of our strategy. So I'm just going to start betting for value here.
Yeah.
Until I move up in stakes. That's going to be my change. And let's see what I did on this one. Yeah, so this one I'm still in that land. And you see,
And they checked, yeah.
this is an easy bet from him in GTO world. Okay. So now, so anyway, so I check and
King 10 checked, but they should
King
have
10
probably
checked.
stabbed, as you said. Yeah.
and if you were king 10, would you bet here or would you check?
I'd bet here because what for you? You've got a backdoor straight and
Mhm.
you've got the king flush blocker, which takes out a lot of combos.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bet here.
Yeah. I would strongly consider checking if I was the king 10 here, because if I define the hand, it's marginal because of the 10.
It's definitely
Put it this
marginal,
way.
yeah.
But also, if I look at its vulnerability, what cards hurt me? A jack hurts me, right? Because a guy can have a jack, but a jack also helps me. An ace hurts me, but an ace also helps me. So with all of that put together, I think I check.
Also, the way I look at this is that, can this hand withstand a check raise, and is a check raise really bad? And the answer is.
Yeah.
It cannot, it's very hard to call a check raise with this hand, and it's very sad because we're not gonna realize our backdoor equity.
Yep,
But
yep.
under both of those points as well, though, wouldn't you argue that a bet is good because if you do get check raise, you know you're straight away out of it. You're not realizing equity. Where if you check and one of those cards do come, that is good, but also bad for you. You could also be getting reversed implied odds.
That's a good point. Oh, gosh.
I think we can look at this in Prometheus. I think we have the ability to do this. Okay, we are going to be in a cash game with 100 big blinds deep, and the closest thing to what we have is hijack. We are hijack, cutoff, big blind, and so hijack, button, big blind is the closest thing we get, and the flop is queen of clubs, 10 of clubs, 6 of diamonds. We're only going to get pre-flop on. We're only get the flop, so it's fine place to do it here.
Yeah.
Queen of clubs. Sorry, 10 of clubs, 6 of diamonds. Clubs, 6 of diamonds. All right, solve. So here we see almost check range. DTO simplified this to check range, but it's almost check range. We can simplify it to check range. So there we go. He checks.
Turn on weighted strategy too, by the way, because that's a really big range there. I bet that a lot of that disappears. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Weighted strategy. So we check. Now, here, so in the sandwich, you can see we do a lot of checking, but not pure checking. Ace ace mixes, and I am going to start taking the betting line here instead of the checking line. And the
Yeah.
suits matter a little bit. But we're not going to take the time for the suits now. The suits are an exercise to the reader. When we check, King 10 is the big question. And I think what we see is King 10, he's offsuit. He doesn't have offsuit. So
What if you
the equivalent to a
weighted
single
range?
club is a diamond. This is the equivalent to a single club.
Okay.
And you'll see all the good reasons for checking, but there are reasons to bet. So everything we've said is right. It's a strategic tension, and the check wins. The check wins the frequency, but it's not higher EV, or else these wouldn't be here. So everyone is right.
Yeah, I think it's definitely table dynamics dependent, isn't it?
Yeah. Right. And just since we have this tool up, let's go back a step. And we'll go back to when
You bet, is it?
yeah, when I bet now, okay, we got to go back again. Just let us go back. Where's the back button? Oh, here, we just get here. We just maybe click on the thing. Hold call. Click on this node, go forward. We get it. Check.
No,
check.
there's a go back right above the check option. Come down. Now they're
I'll
right
go back.
above there.
There it
yeah.
is. Good. Can't do it now, but that's fine. So now I'm going to bet, and I'm
No,
gonna
that's
call.
the end of the gun. You want to
Okay,
check
so he
first and
checks.
then yeah.
Right. So now, oh, and I have a big bet here. I never take it though.
No.
So now I bet my aces, and now the King 10 suited does
Fold, is it?
some folding.
Oh no, calls.
Even
Okay.
the diamonds. Whoa. Whoa.
Diamonds are a backdoor flush.
And a second pair and a backdoor straight. But that's not enough to call a small bet in the new sandwich.
It is. They're calling almost.
Oh, that's
everything.
called. That's not folding. I'm sorry. I saw that as blue. Right. This makes sense. Yeah. So he just calls. Which makes complete. Yeah. So he calls. And now the 9-jack, which is only suited, never folds there either. So that's what happens if I bet my aces. I get 2 calls. But now that this has happened, What should Jack nine do?
Jack nine here. Two people have checked behind you. I think you still check it, being the small blind out position personally, and being offsuit, not having any. And think you can actually, does the offsuit mean you actually bet because you're going to get called by people more likely chasing the flush?
Heads up,
Yeah.
heads up, I think this is an easy bet.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think multi-way though in this exact situation. If you are betting, you bet small, right? No one's shown interest. You can potentially take the pot here because no one's shown interest. But if people do call you, you're building it if you do hit. So I don't mind a small bet here. I don't know what I would do being the Jack nine here, but yeah, I don't mind a small bet here.
What size is small in this context?
33 again, no more than 33, 25 to 33.
Okay. He goes for the check.
Yeah, fair enough. Here now, you want to start betting, right? No one's shown interest. You want to start getting some form of value, even though it's still a little bit of a wet board. But you've got the nuts blocker, right? For the flush. So yeah, I would bet here, and I would probably consider doing about half size. So about 4.5.
Yeah, you really are targeting you're really targeting hands with a 10 in them to call for value, because queens all bet. The queens have all bet by now.
Yeah.
So I think you can't go 8 and get called by a 10. But I tried. And did.
Again, you could be adjusting to the pool players here, right? But yeah, no, that's fine. You could argue though, you're betting big to get called by the people chasing a draw, not necessarily just pairs. So yeah, which obviously,
and I don't care if a draw folds.
Exactly. There we go. And unfortunate. So Jack nine, right? He's gone to this situation now. I would check. If you laid out here, it's pretty much always strength at this point, isn't it? So they should just check here, which they do because it's a check raise pot, I presume. So they check here, and then yourself, you've had two callers. A straight's got there. It's obviously a very specific one. So if you are going to continue your bet, I would probably stay small. What would I do here with aces in this situation? Would I be put off by the 8? I would probably bet small here. I would be concerned, which might be a sign of weakness, which you talked about earlier, the blocker bet. But yeah, I would bet here. If you think that the king 10 behind you is maybe going to bet small, that you're going to call, then yeah, you could also go down that option as well. But yeah, I would, I'd bet here.
I am so hoping that the way this goes is I check, king 10 bets, jack 9 check raises, and I fold, and we end.
It would be brilliant.
And we end on a glorious note. I don't think we're going to get that lucky. Nope. I bet big, and I bet big on the idea that that multi-way, your hand has to either be good enough to bet big or not good enough to bet. So I don't have the small bet in my arsenal, and I thought in this action aces was good enough. I was wrong, and because this guy's only got 52 behind, when he raises me, I may lose it all. And my prediction in the chat was that I would lose exactly that number of big blinds. Let's see if I do. He folds. There's the raise. And because of its size, I lose it because it's only that much more. And so I lose exactly what we thought I would. All right.
If you do go with the smaller bet here, let's say 50% of the pot, 33% at the lowest, right? And then they shove you all in. Do you feel that you fold? I know you're opening yourself to the bluff shove from the smaller stacks, right? Because they could be sensing your weakness here. But do you find that this is probably still more under bluff than bluffed and fold it?
So it's player dependent. This is something that's not hard to see at the table. Who are the people who attack the weak bets? And you get to see it for free because you get to see it when they do it to other people. So you don't have to call them down to see what they have, you know. That mistake where people say professional poker players sometimes call you just to see what you had, to see how you play. It's like not good pros. Good pros learn that from how you play against other people.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I'm only going to bet small here against, I think I'm only going to bet small here when I have the straight against people I want to induce who do play that way. I believe that if he had more, I would fold to this aggression. If it was more than 33 more, but because of how often I have to be right. Yeah, he's betting. He's basically, he's betting less than, it's less than my bet. So why is it saying I've only got 17% pot odds? I'm confused. I have to call $25 to win a pot that is going to be 100-ish. Why does this say 17%? Oh, no, the number, no, I don't know. I don't care. I'm done talking. This number's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Is this number wrong? Have I
I
lost
think
all
so.
ability to do math?
Go back one step, Scotty.
Yes,
So the pot is 60 when you make your bet. He
right.
jams, it makes it 112. And you need to call.
It's going to be right. I need to call, 23 more to win a pot that will be 136.
Yeah, so it's saying you only need 17% equity to call,
Oh, I
right?
need
I think it's right, yeah.
17%.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the, that's what I need. Okay.
I think, isn't it? Isn't that how it works out? So it's only,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bigger, yeah, that's why I did that backwards. Yes, this number is so low. It's like, do I win this pot 17% of the time against this raise? Against a 38-23. Probably not. Because he bet off his queens. He doesn't wait till now for a queen and flail. But does he flail with clubs ever? Yeah, but I have the ace of clubs. Anyway, I lost.
Yeah.
All right. Tomorrow we are going to meet at 9:15 Pacific time and do more poker.
All right. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
And then next week, we're going to do the bluff raise, the river bluffs in Mike's database.
Yeah,
So
can
that's
you,
gonna be fun.
Scotty, send me, we did